I just poured 2 buckets of water on both sides of the dirt pit, and somehow got an endless supply of water that never runs out. A boy passing by mistook me for an immortal, and actually knelt down right in front of me. My mom is dying of sickness. Please, immortal brother, save my mom. To get in touch with the local villagers, I decided to help the boy. I'm not actually an immortal or anything, but if you can get me a cow, I'll find a way to save your mom. Turns out I'm a transmigrator with an MC system, and milk and MC can cure any disease. At this point, there's no other choice but to give it a shot. Thank you so much, immortal brother. I'll definitely get a cow for you. Do you need anything else? Just call me Brother Bai. Do you have any string at home? I want to make a fishing rod. No problem, but Brother Bai, all the rivers nearby have dried up. Where are you gonna fish? I glanced at the small puddle and put on a confident smile. Relax, even if there are no fish in it, I can still catch fish out of it. After saying goodbye to me, Liu Xiaoer ran all the way home, only to get a bad beating from his own dad, Liu Da. You little rascal! You run around instead of helping with work. Don't you know your mom is seriously ill? Liu Xiaoer was super wronged from the beating and yelled quickly, Stop hitting me, Dad. I found a way to save Mom. The air around went completely still in a second. Who told you that? It was Brother Bai who lives in the woods. He said as long as we have a cow, he can find a way to cure Mom's illness. Unexpectedly, after Liu Da heard this news, he didn't get excited at all. Instead, he squatted down with a sad look on his face. Dad is useless. I can't cure your mom's illness, and now I can't even protect you. In this year of famine, who would live in the desolate mountains? He thought Liu Xiaoer must have run into a monster. Liu Xiaoer looked super anxious, but had no idea how to explain. Brother Bai is a good guy. He just asked me to bring a bundle of string over, but Liu Da clearly wasn't listening. Instead, he picked up the only 2 hens left in the house and told Liu Xiaoer firmly, You're still young. You have a long life ahead of you. I'll go meet that monster myself later. The family will depend on you in the future. On the other side, I just woke up on a wooden plank. That was such an uncomfortable sleep. I wonder when I can get some sheep. This wooden plank is way too uncomfortable to sleep on. I walked to the door, stepped on the pressure plate. The wooden door opened automatically. The first thing I saw were the trees I planted a few days ago. They're already fully grown now. I rubbed my hands together and held one hand up in the air. Chut! A stone axe suddenly appeared in my loosely closed right hand. Having a built-in inventory is so convenient. Let's get to work, come on. One wooden block after another got absorbed right into my inventory. Just then, Liu Xiaoer's voice came from not far away. Brother Bai, I brought the string you asked for. Then, Liu Xiaoer scratched his head awkwardly. My dad was worried, so he came with me too. Right then, Liu Da stared wide-eyed at the area next to the house. There was actually a whole field of golden wheat there. How can there be ripe wheat at this time of year? Even though he was really scared, he forced himself to look calm and held up the hens he brought with both hands and said respectfully, Young Master Bai, I beg you to take my life in exchange for my son's life. These 2 hens are an apology for disturbing your peaceful practice. I was totally confused. Did he ask me to save someone? When did I become some big villain? Liu Xiaoer hurried over to explain. My dad thought you were a man-eating monster. He wouldn't believe anything I said. He said I was bewitched by you. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry after hearing that. Don't worry, Uncle Liu. I mean no harm to Liu Xiaoer. My promise still stands. Just bring your wife and the cow over to my place. That's all you need to do. Seeing Liu Da still looked suspicious and uncertain, I thought for a moment and immediately got an idea. Lend me these 2 chickens for a bit first. I can just use them for an experiment. Brother Bai, why are you breaking the wheat? Liu Xiaoer watched me walk into the farmland and break 2 of the not yet fully grown wheat stalks and felt really pained about it. It's okay, no worries. I have other uses for these wheat seeds. Under Liu Da's shocked gaze, the wheat seeds on the ground flew right into my palm with a swish. Then I saw the 2 hens suddenly get all excited. Staring fixedly at the seeds in my hand, I smiled confidently and silently chanted Weishi to the 2 hens in my head. The next second, Liu Da's pupils suddenly dilated, and he yelled in shock, How is this possible? Even Liu Xiaoer was too excited to speak. I saw the 2 hens move close to each other. In less than 3 seconds, a fluffy little chick suddenly appeared. How's that? Uncle Liu, monsters can't do this kind of thing, right? Liu Da's brain had completely shut down. You gotta know these are 2 hens, right? They actually managed to have a chick. What's more, the chick seemed to appear out of thin air. There wasn't even an egg-laying process. Giving offspring like this is something only immortals can do. Oh no, oh no. I actually mistook an immortal for a monster. Noodle Boss Liu Da's legs went weak, and he plopped down on his knees. and even started kowtowing directly. This humble servant did not know you are an immortal lord visiting the mortal realm, and mistakenly took you for a monster. Please forgive me, immortal lord. I was startled and quickly reached out to help Liu Da up. No, Uncle Liu, don't do this! I'm not some kind of immortal. I'm just a regular Steve. But obviously Liu Da had no idea what Steve was. He still remained kneeling on the ground. He turned around and cursed at Liu Xiaoer. You little brat. Get on your knees for the immortal lord right now. I was speechless for a moment, and quickly changed the subject. When are you free? Bring your wife over here. Since she's seriously ill, you better not delay it any longer. Tomorrow. Do you have time, immortal Lord Bai? Only the village chief has another cow. I'll go ask the village chief if he can sell it to me later. Sure, then come back tomorrow. Also, stop calling me immortal Lord Bai. Just call me Bailing. Okay, immortal Lord Bai. Fine, call me whatever you want. I looked at Liu Da's respectful look and felt very helpless. But you don't need to buy the cow. Just borrow it. My method won't hurt the cow. Yes, Lord Immortal. Suddenly Liu Da became very flustered. He spoke a little awkwardly. This lowly one has another favor to ask of you. You live alone in the deep mountains, Lord Immortal. It must be very inconvenient. I wonder if my little son can stay by your side to serve you. Hearing this, Liu Xiaoer immediately knelt down in front of me. I'm willing to stay and be your servant. I frowned and thought for a moment. Right now, I have the special abilities of the Minecraft world. I don't have to worry about food or water anymore. But I'm restricted by an invisible wall because my level is too low, stuck on this small hill. It's not convenient to trade items with the villagers. Besides, it's only right to help poor villagers. So I smiled and said, forget about being a servant. But I do need someone to help me. Liu Xiaoer can be my little brother and run errands for me. Thank you so much for your kindness, immortal Lord Bai. This lowly one will take his leave now. Liu Da cupped his hands and stepped back slowly as he spoke. He didn't stop until he was far away and couldn't see me anymore. Only then did Liu Da heave a huge sigh of relief. Then the corners of his mouth couldn't stop rising. My wife is saved. And my son even got an immortal as his big brother. This is so great. The two of them walked with light steps, chatting and laughing as they headed home. I put the ball of string and stick into the crafting table, and a fishing rod was crafted just like that. I cast the line directly into the small puddle. There was movement soon after. Haha, I got a bite. I reeled in the fishing rod. It was actually a cod. Sure enough, you can fish anywhere. There's water. Now I can have as much fish as I want. If I'm lucky enough, I might even catch an enchanted book. I cast the line again and again, and never got tired of it. But Liu Da ran into a problem again. You say you met an immortal in the woods, and you need a cow to treat your wife's illness. Village Chief Liu Dexy frowned, stroking his beard. He obviously didn't believe Liu Da's words very much. Yes, Village Chief. Right now, you're the only one in the village who has a cow. Please lend it to me for one day. If that really doesn't work, I can buy it from you. I'll trade my plot of land for it. Oh, Liu Da. It's not that I don't want to lend it to you. I'm worried you've been scammed, Liu Dexy sighed. If you wanted to exchange the cow for money to hire a doctor, I wouldn't say a word. I'd give you the cow right away. But you actually want to use the cow to treat your wife's illness, and do it at some immortal's place. How is that possible? All right, look, Liu Da, I can lend you the cow, but I'm going with you tomorrow. After Liu Da left, Liu Side's face darkened. He immediately called his son over. That's basically what happened. Do you get it? A big burly man nodded. He rolled up his sleeves, furious. Where did this rascal even come from? Daring to come to our Liu village to swindle people. I'll head over first thing tomorrow morning. Let's catch that guy first. Liu Side nodded. The two made a plan. Just waiting for dawn tomorrow to catch that despicable liar. But that very night, Liu Da's wife became critically ill. Loud knocking kept ringing on the door. As soon as the village chief opened the door, he saw it was Liu Er. Why are you here so early? It's not even dawn yet. Liu Er was panting heavily. He said anxiously, my mom's burning up with fever. She's been rambling nonstop too. Dad sent me to get you. We need to go see Brother Bai right now. The village chief lost all sleepiness immediately. Why of all times? No, we need to get a doctor fast. No need for a doctor, village chief. We need the cow. At a time like this, how can you still believe that liar? Your dad's always been superstitious. How are you being this stupid too? Brother Bai really can help. Please, I'm begging you. Grandpa Village Chief, just lend us the cow, please. Seeing Liu Er was about to choke up, Liu Side couldn't say anything more. He had to go with Liu Er. Look over there, great! Brother Bai's still awake. Looks like he's fishing. Fishing? Liu Hyde was totally confused. All the rivers around here are dried up. Where would there be any fish? Looking in the direction Liu was pointing, I was sitting in front of a small puddle fishing, but there was clearly not a single fish in that puddle. I knew this guy was a fraud. A wave of helplessness and disappointment washed over Liu's side. This world is really hopeless, huh? Right at that moment, something weird happened. There was a loud splash. A huge fish, almost half a meter long, was hooked. Then it turned into a golden ray of light. I put it straight into my inventory slot. It vanished into thin air. Seeing this miraculous scene, Lucide's heart was pounding. Are there really immortals in this world? Brother Bai, I brought the cow. Please save my mom. Hearing Liu's voice, I snapped back to my senses. Liuda's wife must have gotten worse suddenly. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come so early. Bring the cow over quick, I said as I poured out all the water in the bucket. Getting ready to get milk? Such clean water. How can you just pour it out like that? Lucide standing nearby was heartbroken. I saw the expression on Lucide's face. But saving a life is more important right now. I held the empty bucket. Facing the old yellow ox, I mumbled use in my head. Milky white milk gushed out from the bottom. It filled the whole iron bucket in an instant. Lucide was stunned. This ox of his is a male. I scooped a bowl of milk from the bucket with a wooden bowl. All right, now just get your mom to drink this bowl of milk, and she should be cured. Hearing that, Ludai gently put his wife Yelan on the ground. He carefully brought the milk to Yelan's lips. The milk automatically flowed into her mouth along the edge of the bowl. Then something amazing happened. Yelan's face visibly became rosier. Finally, her complexion was even healthier and rosier than Liu Da's next to her. When she fully recovered, the exhaustion from several sleepless nights hit Yelan. She forced her eyes open. She thanked me gratefully. Thank you. Immortal Bai, it's nothing. No need to be polite. I smiled satisfactorily too. The next second, Yelan's head tilted to the side. She passed out asleep. Honey, what's wrong? Liu Da was full of anxiety, calling for his wife. Immortal Bai, how is she? Don't worry, she's already cured. She's just asleep from being too tired. I breathed a sigh of relief quietly. We managed to save her after all. Everyone looked happy. Only Liu Side stared blankly at the puddle in a daze. As the village chief, he knew Liu Village's current situation better than anyone. As early as a week ago, the groundwater in Liu Village had already dried up. The well in the village that used to be bottomless only had a thin layer of water left inside. These days, we don't even have enough water for daily use, let alone for watering the crops. But this puddle right in front of us, Lord Bai has been taking water from it as he pleases, and its level hasn't dropped at all. That's so surreal. Liu Dexi carefully reached out his hand and dipped it lightly into the water. The soft, gentle feeling of the water spread all over his wrinkled arm. Without any hesitation, he scooped up some water and took a sip. The sweet spring-like taste filled his mouth right away. This is real life-saving water. Great water that's safe to drink and water crops with. Our village's crops are saved. Right now, Liu Dexi was fully convinced that the young man before him was an immortal descended to Earth. But how was he supposed to ask the immortal for help? Sir, are you Liu Shaoer's grandpa? Seeing that I was talking to him, Liu Dexi blushed bright red from excitement. Aye, sir. I'm not Liu Shaoer's grandpa. I'm the chief of Liu Village. As soon as he finished speaking, Liu Dexi bent his knees and knelt down on the ground. I'm Liu Dexi, greetings Lord Immortal. Why does everyone kneel when they see me? I sighed and hurried to help Liu Dexi up. Please stand up, old sir. I'm just a regular Steve, nothing special. But Liu Dexi still looked terrified, trembling like a leaf. His right leg especially was shaking really badly. It looked like he had some kind of chronic illness. I thought for a second, then filled a few more buckets of milk and told everyone present to drink some. How do you feel? I feel so much lighter all over. Me too. My leg doesn't hurt anymore. Liu Dexi was especially overjoyed. He was already very old. Every winter, the pain in his thigh joint was so bad he could barely walk. Even a cold morning wind would give him a dull ache. But now he didn't feel any pain at all. Thank you, Lord Bai, for the magic medicine. Liu Dexi knew Lord Bai didn't like people kneeling to him, so he cupped his hands in a salute to thank him. No big deal, no big deal. Don't worry about it, village chief. But Liu Dexi hung his head even lower. He hesitated for a moment, then summoned his courage and said, Lord Bai, I dare to ask you for a favor. It's about the water shortage, right? I noticed the villagers don't have enough water a while ago. I was already planning to help. I didn't expect you'd bring it up first, Chief. Yes, exactly that. I really have no other options left. It hasn't rained here for 3 whole months. There's no water left in the fields at all. I don't dare ask for your magic water, Lord Bai. I just hope you can put in a good word for us with the Dragon King. That's exactly what I'm going to do next. Come with me. I led the group towards Liu Village. I'm almost at the boundary. I thought to myself, I've earned a lot of XP farming and fishing these past few days. I'm already level 8 now. The area I'm allowed to move around in has expanded to almost reach Lu Village. Finally, I stopped right in front of the invisible wall. All right, get off here. Let's do it right here. First, I dug a hole, then poured 2 buckets of water into opposite sides. And just like that, an infinite water source was done. Can you tell the villagers for me, Chief? They can come here to get water from now on. Liu Dexy stared at the endlessly flowing water, grinning from ear to ear. He still couldn't understand how this worked. But when he remembered it was immortal magic, he didn't think it was weird at all. If he could understand how it worked, that would be even stranger. Aren't you coming to visit our village? Lu Xiaoer saw I was about to head back and looked a little disappointed. I want to go too, but I can't. It's not allowed. Is there some problem, Lord Immortal? Liu Dexy asked carefully. I thought for a second. It's not like it's a secret anyway. I might as well show them. So I stepped forward past the invisible wall. All of a sudden, everything started shaking violently. The sudden earthquake made Liu Dexy stumble. He almost fell over. Right after that, he saw something he would never forget for the rest of his life. The clear blue sky was suddenly covered in thin black cracks. The cracks twisted like a spider web, stretching as far as the eye could see, and they were getting bigger and bigger. Oh my goddess Nuwa. Do you see that? The sky is going to fall again. Liu Dexy was so scared his legs gave out and he fell to the ground. Immortal Lord, Immortal Lord. The sky is gonna fall. Now you see what the consequences are. Hurry up and go back. I quickly retreated behind the wall. Sure enough, the strange vision disappeared in an instant. On the way back to the village, Liu Dexy didn't say a word the whole time. He looked like he'd lost his soul. Everything that just happened felt like a dream. Immortals actually exist for real. That earth-shattering scene just now kept replaying in his mind. He finally understood the sufferings of mortal folks. Why didn't immortals come to save us before? Immortals and mortals are worlds apart. Even someone as powerful as Immortal Lord Bai, who came down from heaven, will face huge restrictions. It might even cause the whole world to be destroyed. Maybe when Immortal Lord Bai came down from heaven, he already paid a huge price for it. Immortal Lord Bai is such a kind immortal. He headed back to the village in extreme excitement. He was just about to announce the good news to all the villagers when he was shocked by what his son did. Dad, I'm all ready. When are we gonna go beat up that scammer? Liu Dexy snapped out of it. He slapped the young man hard. You unfilial brat, you unfilial brat! Right after that, he knelt down in a panic. Please forgive us, Immortal Lord. We had no idea you came down to the mortal world yesterday. We thought someone was trying to cheat Liu Da. That's why we made that stupid call. We hope you won't hold it against us. After this whole series of actions, the young man was totally stunned. What are you staring at? Hurry up and call all the villagers over here. Tell them I've got something important to announce. After sending the village chief and others off in the woods, I sighed. Looks like this misunderstanding is getting worse and worse. I never expected that. Stepping out of the air wall would cause such a big commotion. The sky was falling and the ground was cracking all over the place. Oh well, I guess I'll just be the immortal then. Now I have to hurry up and level up. If I can level up just 2 more times, my range of movement should extend all the way to the village. I have no idea by then what amazing changes will happen to the village. Out of the way! Out of the way! Hey, village chief, you called all of us out here. What's going on exactly? Yeah, village chief. I still have work to do in my field. Liu Dexy just smiled and kept walking forward. We're almost there. Liu Dexy pointed to the front. If you can't wait, go check it out first. Right after he said that, several people rushed over impatiently. It's actually water. There's really water here? This water tastes so sweet. The rest of the people couldn't hold back anymore. They all rushed forward one after another. This is so great, so satisfying. I haven't had water this satisfying in ages. Very soon, the villagers noticed something was off. It looks like this water is appearing out of nowhere, and it just keeps flowing nonstop. It feels like it will never run out. Village chief, we've waited long enough. You have to tell us what's going on now, right? Then, Liu Dexy recounted everything that happened yesterday. Village chief, it's not that we don't believe you. It's just that what you said sounds too crazy. If there really are immortals, why would they ever come to a lousy place like ours? Since none of you believe me, go dig up the soil under the water and see for yourselves. After the bottom was completely dug out, all the people looked at each other in shock. They saw that the water was actually suspended in midair, and it was still flowing out non-stop. Whoever can pull this off undoubtedly has only one possible identity. They had really met an immortal. That's right, that's right. This is the immortal water bestowed to Lu Village by Immortal Lord Bai. Immortal Lord Bai is such a kind immortal. We really need to thank Lord Immortal properly. Who knew Liu Dexi would get angry immediately after hearing this? Bullshit! Just saying thank you is not enough. We need to build a temple at least, and enshrine this divine water here. I was fishing in the woods. I had no idea what was happening in the village at all. Right now I was frowning at the leather boots I just caught. How come after fishing for so long, all I get is useless junk? You can have these. Try them on and see if they fit. Liu Xiaoer, who was waiting nearby, exclaimed in surprise. Boss, you're so awesome. You even caught boots from the water. I smiled and pushed the boots into Liu Xiaoer's arms. Liu Xiaoer was supposed to stay home and take care of his mom. He never expected his dad wouldn't let him do any housework at all, and just straight up kicked him out of the house. Your only task now is to stay by Immortal Lord Bai's side. If you dare come back for no reason, I'll break your legs. Thinking that all of this happened because of me, I felt bad not giving him something as a gift. Liu Xiaoer put on the leather boots right away. Boss, these boots fit me perfectly. They're way more comfortable than straw sandals. Try scratching yourself with a small knife. Liu Xiaoer didn't hesitate at all. He sliced his own hand straight with the knife. Guess what? There was only a faint white scratch on his hand, and he didn't feel any pain at all. That's so freaking amazing. Now we can confirm the armor stat of the gear. Works on other people as well. And the effect is actually pretty great. If we craft a full set of this gear, we'll probably be totally invulnerable to slashes and stabs. But Liu Xiaoer looked really conflicted, staring at the magical boots and feeling unworthy of them. Such a precious treasure. Did he really deserve it? I saw right through what Liu Xiaoer was thinking. I comforted him. I don't even care about these boots at all. Just take them. No need to overthink it. Got it, boss. Then I immediately told Xiaoer to try chopping trees and fishing. But no resources popped out like they do for game players. That made me a little disappointed. Because that means I can't use the villagers to collect supplies for me. Suddenly, I thought of one thing villagers might be able to use. Maybe the composter will work. I took out the composter. I said to Xiaoer, pull some grass and throw it in to test, under the expectant gaze of both of us. The grass inside the composter actually turned into little green particles. It worked. Keep putting more in. Finally found something the villagers can use. As we kept putting in more plants, a block similar to podzol formed inside the composter. The bone meal we get from this can speed up wheat growth. Then I can have villagers do mass production for me. All right, that's all for today. Oh, right. Did the village chief tell the villagers about the water source? Yeah, he did. Lots of people were drawing water there when I came over. Oh, then I need to go check it out. I'll come with you. Liu Xiaoer guarded the basket carefully the whole way. It was full of the food I gave him. Hey, Liu Xiaoer, no need to be that careful. Go home and use these eggs to nourish your mom's body. Who knew Liu Xiaoer awkwardly lowered his head? These eggs, we always save up enough to sell in town for money. We're not willing to eat them ourselves. Have you never eaten an egg before? As soon as I said that, I regretted it. They're all disaster victims. How would they have any good food to eat? That question was such a classic why don't they eat meat moment. So I quickly apologized. I'm sorry about that. Liu Xiaoer, I didn't mean anything by it. It's just that I had a really good life before. I can't imagine what life is like for disaster victims. But Liu Xiaoer's eyes went wide, looking totally disbelieving. Why are you apologizing to me? Aren't you an immortal, boss? That's the wrong way to think, Liu Xiaoer. I frowned immediately and said seriously, first of all, I'm not an immortal. Second, even if I were an immortal, I still have to admit it when I make a mistake. After hearing what I said, Liu Xiaoer was really moved. Before this, he was used to seeing rich young masters in town bully people as they pleased. Everyone says people are divided into high and low classes. He never expected Immortal Bai to treat him as an equal. Maybe this is what a real immortal is like. Whoa, what the hell is going on here? After a little while, Xiaoer and I arrived at the spot, but what I saw in front of me left me stunned. The crowd was split into two groups, bowing to the altar on top of the waterhole. Liu Dexi, who was leading them, was even holding a stick of incense, mumbling something under his breath. When he saw me coming, Liu Dexi immediately panicked. The immortal already said he doesn't like people bowing to him. What if he gets mad at me after seeing this? If the immortal goes back to heaven because of this? I'll be the sinner of the whole village. The more Liu Dexi thought about it, the more stressed he got, until his vision went blurry, and his brain completely short-circuited. He actually knelt down heavily in front of me. This commoner Liu Dexi greets the immortal. The next second, Liu Dexi wished he could just die right there. Why did I kneel again out of nowhere? Now I'm totally screwed. Is that the immortal? He really is different from ordinary people. He looks so handsome. Shush, stop talking. The immortal is looking at me, looking at these ridiculous villagers in front of me. I secretly complained, village chief. I'm really not some immortal. Everyone stop kneeling too. Hurry up and get up, all of you. When all the villagers stood up, I sucked in a sharp breath. Every single villager in front of me was skin and bones. They barely looked like normal people at all. I took out a wooden plank. Village chief. About how many households are there in the village? What's the total population? 14 households. 54 people in total. I put all my remaining cod on the platform. It filled the entire wooden board in a second. Fish! That's a giant fish! Ever since the lake dried up, they haven't seen any fish for ages. Gasps of surprise erupted one after another immediately. Village chief, I'll leave these fish to you for distribution. Make sure every household gets one. In the days ahead, I'll also come here to provide food. Are these all free for us? And will we have food supply in the future too? The villagers were so moved they didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If they weren't afraid of overstepping and offending the immortal, they would have rushed right over, hugged my legs and called me dad. Then I placed 7 compost bins next to the platform. Here's what you need to do next. You need to use leaves or other plants to fill up these bins. As for the specific steps, Liu Xiaoer will tell you all about it. This way, the bone meal we produce can help grow more wheat. That's almost enough to feed everyone in the village. Hearing my request, the villagers were extremely grateful, let alone 7 bins. They'd even agree to do it for 70 bins. This is way easier than farming. Thank you, Immortal Lord. Thank you, Immortal Lord. I told you I'm not an immortal. I turned around and headed back to the woods helplessly. The villagers couldn't hold back their excitement right away. Haha, that's amazing, so great. We have food now. My kids are saved. Some people knelt down and kowtowed. Some danced around with joy. Some even ran around like crazy. After they let out most of their excitement, Liu Dexi laughed through his sobs. All right, folks. Today is such a wonderful day for us. Come on, everyone, take the fish home now. Over the next few days, I spent almost all day fishing by the puddle. I just need to level up one more time now. And my activity range will cover the whole village. Liu Xiaoer, go back and tell the villagers. In the next few days, if anything changes in the village, tell them not to panic. Just say it's all because of me. Got it. Liu Xiaoer turned and left with my instructions. For this situation, I'm pretty helpless too. I actually want to communicate with the villagers, but as soon as they see me, it's like they have something stuck in their throat, shaking like a leaf. Can't say a single word. So now I can only talk to the villagers through Liu Xiaoer. Liu Xiaoer stopped when he passed the village chief's house. The usually quiet entrance of the chief's house was really noisy at the moment. He had no idea what was going on. A little more to the left. Too much, way too much. Move to the right. All right, all right. Put the chair right here. Village chief, what are you all doing? Isn't this your precious chair? Why did you move it here? Pfft, that's nothing. I need to fix up this house quickly, so we can reserve a place for Immortal Lord Bai to stay. Liu Xiaoer was totally confused. Yeah, the only decent house in the village is my ancestral home. It's our great honor to let Immortal Lord Bai rest here. I didn't expect that as soon as I spread the news. Everyone came over to bring gifts, but boss said before, he won't live in the village. Whether he stays or not is one thing. Whether we prepare it or not is another. You little kid, you have a lot to learn. Liu Dexi smiled and told everyone to move the stuff inside. That's right, that's right. These are just ordinary wooden items anyway. They can't compare to the kindness the Immortal Lord gave us. I've been the village chief for so many years. I've never seen you guys this motivated. Oh, come on, chief. If you had half the ability of the Immortal Lord, I'd even clean the outhouse for you every day. Everyone burst out laughing when they heard that. The whole place was filled with cheerful atmosphere. Zhang Yuan, you bastard. If you dare steal from us again, we'll break your legs. Zhang Yuan, a villager from the Zhang family, had stolen things many times, so he was finally kicked out. Tch, fine, keep your stuff then. I don't even care about it anyway. But Zhang Yuan was so hungry he didn't have strength to work. Dizzy with hunger, Zhang Yuan walked along the road, and before he knew it, he arrived at Liu Village, the rival of Zhang Village. Then a scent suddenly perked him up immediately. It's fish. Someone's cooking fish nearby. As Zhang Yuan went deeper inside, the smell of fish got stronger and stronger. He was shocked to find that every single household had fish, but he snuck inside to steal fish and got beaten out. Damn it, this isn't over. You Liu Village people are being ruthless, so don't blame me for being unrighteous then. What did you say? Liu Village hid someone where we can't find them. That's way too much bullying. Zhang He, chief of Zhang Village, shouted angrily. Where else would they get fish to eat? We have to go demand an explanation from them. In the afternoon, at the entrance of Liu Village, over a dozen Liu villagers were already standing there early. All the Zhang villagers in the distance looked grim. They were holding all kinds of farm tools. They were already prepared to fight to the death. After all, this time is totally different from before. They're here to take water by force. Stealing water during a severe drought is literally a matter of life and death. But one line from Liu Dexi stunned all of them. "Listen up, people of Zhang Village. I'm here to bring you water right now." Did I hear that right? Liu Village people are actually voluntarily bringing us water. Zhang He had imagined many scenarios, but he never expected it to go like this. They saw Liu villagers walking over carrying poles. The buckets were actually full of water. "Easy, easy. No rush, okay?" Watching the water slosh out of the buckets, Zhang He felt like his heart was breaking. When the buckets were set down in front of the Zhang villagers, Zhang He actually started crying. "Is all this water for us?" All the Zhang villagers sheepishly hung their heads. "Don't worry, you guys can drink this water first. Next, bring 2 people who can make decisions and come with me. I'll take you to the water source." The 2 arrived at the water source, and Zhang He learned from Liu Dexi about the immortal coming down to the mortal world. He sighed for a while, then hung his head in shame. "Oh, so that's what happened. This immortal Bai is such a kind god. We're truly sorry. Our Zhang villagers were being reckless this time. From now on, Liu Village's business is Zhang Village's business." Suddenly, Zhang He clapped his palm sharply. "What's wrong?" Liu Dexi asked confusedly. "I heard that corrupt official Zhang Duyao sent people to the villages to collect taxes again. If you can't pay, they beat you half to death. They've already stolen a lot of stuff from several villages. Didn't we just pay taxes? It hasn't even been that long. Why are they here again? Do they want us common people to die? Sigh, life's getting harder and harder these days. But how can regular people fight against officials? You guys must hide your food well, and don't let them find it. Sir, it's not that we don't want to pay taxes. It hasn't rained for months. We're all starving to death. We really can't pay the tax." Right now in Wang Village, next to Liu Village, an old man was kneeling on the ground, begging bitterly to the Yamen runner in front of him. "Get out of my way." The Yamen runner kicked the old man down with 1 foot. "I don't care about your disasters. As long as there are people in the village, you have to pay taxes. Not paying is rebellion. Search everything!" Amid the villagers' wails, the Yamen runners took the last bit of life-saving mixed rice that the village had left. The whole village was shrouded in grief. Soon the Yamen runners arrived at the entrance of Liu Village. "People of Liu Village, come out right now." Coming. Village Chief Liu Dexi put on a sad face and smiled obsequiously. "What can I do for you, sir?" His face was covered in mud at the moment, and he had changed into ragged clothes. He was clearly already prepared. "Don't give me excuses like drought or whatever. If you don't pay the tax today, all of you are going to jail." No, sir. You misunderstood me." Liu Dexi took a pouch out of his pocket and handed it over respectfully. "This is the tax our village owed. We're paying all of it today. Mom, I'm so hungry. I really want to eat something." Following the sound, they looked over and saw a little kid curled up in a woman's arms, wailing. It was all an act put on by Liu villagers to trick the Yamen runners. "Go to sleep, baby. You won't be hungry when you fall asleep." The mother held the child and cried. Anyone who saw this scene would be moved. But these Yamen runners were already numb to it. They only cared about getting more extra money for themselves. "Boss, the numbers add up. It's exactly the tax owed." "Are you sure the numbers add up exactly?" The leader winked at his subordinates. "If even a single copper is missing, the county magistrate will hold us accountable. Neither of us can afford that consequence." The Yamen runner got the hint right away. He smacked his forehead, pretending to be annoyed. "Oh, look at my bad memory. I mixed up the villages. The tax from Liu Village is still a bit short." Seeing this, Liu Dexi gritted his teeth and said, "The officials came in such a rush that I got muddle-headed and forgot to bring 1 more money bag." Then he handed over another pouch of money. The Yamen runner was shocked, but quickly figured out what was going on. This Liu village probably has lots of extra money to squeeze. Why not just go inside and loot everything? These lowlifes won't even dare to resist. This is way too little. He pretended to fly into a rage. "Fine. Looks like you're deliberately messing with us. Everyone, go inside and search." Watching the Yamen runners break into houses and rummage through everything, all the villagers were holding back their fury. But they all intentionally or not stood guard in front of the village chief's ancestral home. The leader of the Yamen runners noticed this too. "All of you get out of the way." "Sir, it's not that we don't want to move. This is a residence we reserved for the immortal. If you offend the immortal, all of you will be punished." Such silly tricks. "I think you guys are hiding something inside there. Go inside and search now. Anyone who dares to stop us will be killed on the spot." "No, don't." The village chief saw the blade about to strike Liu Dexi. People around screamed in shock. All of them couldn't help rushing forward. "You're all rebelling, huh? You're all asking for... Suddenly, all of them moved in unison, looking into the distance. What is that? It's the Immortal. The Immortal has appeared. The originally dry soil in the distance suddenly turned green, and at an extremely fast speed, it spread towards the village. Turns out I, who fish all day, finally leveled up. The range I can move in has successfully expanded to the village. I wonder what changes will happen to the village because of this. Lord Immortal has appeared. Seeing this, the villagers all knelt down in unison. The Yamen runners witnessed this miraculous scene and started to panic and feel uncertain. Could there really be immortals in this world? Watch out! A huge metal creature suddenly appeared behind the Yamen leader. It was an iron golem from Minecraft. Then it raised its arm and swung at the leader. The Yamen runner was sent flying immediately. He fell to the ground and fell into a peaceful sleep. The other two Yamen runners were stunned with fear at the sight. They thudded to their knees, kowtowing like crazy. Immortal, spare our lives. We were just following orders. Please have mercy on us, Immortal. Let us go, please. But the Iron Golem ignored the two Yamen runners and walked straight to Liu Shower. All the villagers grew nervous, afraid the big guy would hurt someone. The next second, the Iron Golem held out its hand to Liu Shower. In its hand was a small red flower. Thank you, Shower took the little flower, as expected of the Immortal's creation. It's as kind as the Immortal himself. Look, Lord White Immortal is here. Welcome, Lord White Immortal. This is an Iron Golem. I walked out of the woods, looking at the big guy among the villagers in surprise. This means that Liu Village has been recognized as a valid village by the system. Boss, thanks to this big guy, we would have been killed by these Yamen runners. Hearing this, I looked coldly at the two kneeling on the ground. Since they dared to bully us right in our home, they must be taught a lesson. Immortal, spare our lives. We know we were wrong. It was all our leader's idea. The two of them were crying messily, snot and tears all over their faces. One of them even peed his pants in fear. An idea popped into my head. I grinned at the two of them maliciously. Seeing that you two have a sincere attitude, I'll spare your lives. Thank you, Immortal. Thank you, Immortal. However, my next words made the smiles on their faces freeze. But you may escape the death penalty. But you can't avoid punishment for your crimes. In your next life, you will be reincarnated as animals. No, Immortal, is there any way to atone for our sins? The two of them turned pale with fear. We'd rather die than become livestock. We still want to be humans in our next life. Fine, I'll give you a chance to make amends for your crimes. Do good deeds from now on, and maybe I'll reconsider your reincarnation. Thank you for your mercy, Immortal Lord. If you got that, get lost right now. The two immediately carried their unconscious leader and scrambled away in a panic. Then cheers from the villagers rang out across the village. Since you're already here, help me find an open space in the village, will you? I'm gonna settle down in this village. Liu Dexi was overjoyed. The Immortal Lord is going to live in our village. We've already prepared a house for you. Please come with me. I appreciate your kind thought, but I prefer building a house on my own. Tell the villagers to take all the gifts back. After hearing this, Liu Dexi was not disappointed at all. Instead, he was so excited his heart almost jumped out. The Immortal Lord is building a house personally. That's an immortal abode. Liu Village is actually going to have an immortal abode. He couldn't stop grinning and led me to an empty lot. This spot is pretty good. I'll settle here from now on. Also, don't call me Immortal Lord anymore. Just call me Young Master Bai. Yes, we'll follow your orders, Young Master. Dad? Immortal Lord, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. There's something wrong with my body. Liu Ping, Liu Dexi's son, ran over from afar. He was yelling recklessly in front of the Immortal Lord. What kind of improper behavior is that? Liu Dexi was just about to scold him, but was stunned by the scene in front of him. A semi-transparent straw hat was floating above Liu Ping's head. What's going on here? Isn't a straw hat the standard symbol for the farmer class? Looks like Liu Ping has changed his class to farmer. So I smiled at the two and said, don't worry. This hat won't have any bad effect on you. It even has unexpected benefits. When did you notice the straw hat appeared? Liu Ping scratched his head. I was fetching water in the woods just now. When I came back, someone told me, there was this thing on my head. It's the compost bin. It suddenly dawned on me. The compost bin next to the water source is the job block corresponding to the farmer class. Now I can ask the villagers to help grow wheat. Liu Ping, take this hoe, Mutter used to this piece of land. Liu Ping took the hoe solemnly. His hand holding it was trembling a little. This is an immortal treasure. Then he closed his eyes and muttered used to the land. A miraculous scene happened. A plowed piece of land appeared in front of everyone. I glanced at the durability of the hoe. Sure enough, it decreased a little. How do you feel? I feel like some of my strength was sucked away, but I can still try many more times. Since the first step succeeded, the rest will go smoothly. I guided Liu Ping to plant wheat in the field successfully. Liu Ping's eyes widened. His breathing became rapid uncontrollably. You know, this is fresh wheat that can ripen in just a few days. I can actually grow the immortal wheat from heaven. He was so nervous he couldn't speak coherently. His back was soaked with sweat. Liu Dexi, standing nearby, was also too nervous to speak. Now please go call all the villagers here. I have something important to tell you all. After the two left, I immediately made several compost bins and buried them underground. I want to turn all villagers into farmers. Not long after, all the villagers gathered in front of me. They all heard that Liu Ping became an immortal farmer and knew I was going to give each of them this power. Every one of them was extremely excited. Now step forward when I call your name. Liu Wusan, present. A sturdy man walked out from the crowd. He was extremely nervous and excited at the same time. He walked onto the dirt platform. Before long, a straw hat appeared above his head. It worked! It worked! The surrounding crowd erupted in excitement immediately. Thank you, young Master Bai. Thank you, young Master Bai. With one successful case, the villagers got even more excited. However, an accident still happened. This villager stood on the platform for a long time, but nothing happened at all. Looks like not everyone can change their class to farmer. Juzi walked back to the crowd dejectedly. So this can actually fail. Well, obviously, how could everyone have the talent to be an immortal farmer? The people who stepped forward after that were much more careful. They were afraid they weren't pious enough and would end up failing. The villagers who succeeded were so excited their faces turned red. Some were happy, some were sad, some were jealous, some were envious. The village has never been as bustling as it is today. Only a handful of people ended up becoming farmers. Young Master Bai, all these approved people are top farmhands in the village. Oh, that makes sense. I do feel a little bad about it though. But when I think about training people for other occupations later, it doesn't really matter that much. After all, I've already picked Liu Village as my base. Naturally, I'm gonna build it into the coolest village in the whole world. Liu Ping, all of you wearing straw hats, come over here. Under everyone's envious gazes, every straw hat wearing villager held their heads high and walked up to the front. I placed the same number of hoes on the platform. From now on, these hoes are your official work tools. Make sure you take good care of them. Don't worry. Liu Ping looked more serious than ever before. Starting right now, this hoe is my life. If anyone dares touch my hoe, I'll fight them to the death. Same for us, too. The others nearby chimed in right away. Great, starting tomorrow. This plot of land is all yours. As for how to do the work, Liu Ping will walk you through it. Everyone except the village chief can leave now. I need to discuss something with the chief. Liu Ping and the others headed home happily, clutching their hoes. The remaining villagers walked to the fields with determined looks. They all farm as hard as they possibly can, hoping to get Straw Hat approval for the next job transfer. After everyone left, the chief and I talked until late at night. The village needs to buy cows, sheep, and iron ingots. Bringing scholars into the village also needs to be put on the agenda. After all, only scholars can qualify for the job transfer. To librarian, Liu Dexi nodded and agreed to everything with a smile. Based on my plan, he proposed all corresponding solutions. When he got home that night, Liu Dexi couldn't calm down for the longest time. He kept pinching his own arm until the pain made him tear up. Is this really not a dream? Is our Liu village actually going to become prosperous? His son also stayed up all night. Liu Ping actually held his hoe and giggled the entire night. He's an immortal farmer now, you know? At the crack of dawn the next morning, he couldn't wait to head out. Turns out the other Straw Hat villagers were already waiting by the field super early. All of them had dark circles under their eyes. Turns out every single one of them was too excited to fall asleep. They looked at each other and all laughed. Now's the time to test the immortal farmer's abilities. All right, let's get to work. Liu Ping carefully took the newly bought seeds out of his inner pocket and handed them out to everyone. Then he walked into the field to show them how it's done. Once you've prepared the soil, just hold the seed and silently say use. That's all you need to do. Haha, you guys are way too slow. I've already planted 5 immortal wheat stalks. Wait up, I'm gonna catch up to you real soon. The atmosphere in the field was super cheerful, and everyone finished planting all their seeds in no time. They're all gone already, that was so fast. Do any of you have extra seeds? Give me some, I ran out too. Even though they used up most of their energy, everyone was totally hooked on farming. They've never had this much fun in their lives. Liu Ping looked at the newly planted fields in front of him, and his chest burned with excitement. They ripen in 7 days at most. How much wheat are we gonna harvest? After finishing all the field work, he immediately headed to the village entrance to meet up. Per the Immortal Army's requirements, The village is sending people to the city to buy supplies. As the best fighter in the village, he was obviously picked for this trip. You all ready? It's pretty chaotic outside the village right now. Take these with you for self-defense. As I said that, I handed wooden swords and leather boots to the people in front of me. If the situation allows, after you buy the sheep and iron, bring a scholar back with you on the way. Don't worry, young master. We have Liu Qi, the smartest guy in the village, leading the team. Plus brother Liu Ping, the strongest fighter. We'll definitely get the job done, Chusa said to me full of confidence. I smiled and waved the three of them off. I thought this was just a simple supply run. But none of us expected how dangerous the outside world really was. After they left the village boundaries, the surrounding environment changed completely. The village was full of life, but outside it was completely dead and desolate. The fields were cracked and barren, and you could see one or two dead bodies every now and then. But there were no living people anywhere along the road, which actually made Liu Ping and the others feel more at ease. After all, in this chaotic era, the most dangerous people are refugees. The closer they got to the city, the more people they saw. Most of the refugees are stopped outside the city walls. No travel permits. They won't be allowed into the city. Some starving refugees can't take it anymore. They come up to pester the guards and get beaten half to death by Xiao Li, who's guarding the gate. They're left on the ground, half dead. Cries echo all around outside the city. It looks like a total hellscape. You two stay here. Wait for me, I'll handle the communication. Halt! Do you have your travel permit? Of course, sir. Take a look, please. Liu Qi hands over the permit with a smile, along with a few pieces of silver. The officer holds the permit in his hand and weighs it a little. He smiles and says, "Go on in." Compared to outside the city, life inside the city is way better, but people still all look gaunt and malnourished. I used to envy people living in the city. Looks like they don't live as well as folks in our village. That's all thanks to the Immortal Lord. So the task the Immortal Lord gave us has to be done perfectly. Got it. Liu Qi, you're smarter than all of us. You make the call. Liu Qi thinks for a moment and says, "Juzi, take the money and go buy sheep. Liu Ping and I will go find a scholar. We'll meet back here afterwards. Then we'll go buy iron tools together." With his silver tongue, Liu Qi finds a house really quickly. Who's there? The door opens, and a messy, skinny, middle-aged man walks out. "What can I do for you two?" "Sir, we heard you're a great teacher. We'd like to invite you to teach kids in our village. We'll pay you and provide food too." "Oh, that's a nice offer," the man says with a laugh. "Could you two tell me which mansion I'll be teaching at?" "Sir, you'll need to go outside the city." Before Liu Qi can finish speaking, there's a loud slam. The door slams shut immediately. "Ha. You think I'm a 3-year-old? If I leave the city with you, I'll be completely at your mercy, won't I? Go find someone else then." "Liu Qi, what do we do now?" The Immortal Lord said, "We have to bring a scholar back with us. We have to bring one back no matter what." A sharp look flashes in Liu Qi's eyes. "Let's ask a few more households. If that doesn't work, we'll knock one out and drag him back. Once he wakes up anyway, after he lives in our village for a few days, we probably won't even be able to chase him away." The two searched the city for half the day. Every scholar, without exception, heard that they needed to leave the city, and turned the two of them down. Just when Liu Qi was about to tell Liu Ping to take action, a guard's voice came from not far away. "You two, causing trouble in the city in broad daylight. You're really tired of living, huh?" Turns out Liu Qi and the others' weird behavior caught the attention of the Yamen runners. They came over right now and caught them red-handed. "Grandpa's already in a bad mood today. Wait till we get to the prison. I'm gonna skin you alive. Zhou Wu. What they did isn't serious enough for that. Take them back first for questioning. Don't use force." "Bro, what's wrong with you anyway? You've been acting totally different since you came back from collecting taxes yesterday. You even said you wanted to do charity. I thought you were just joking." Just then, Liu Qi gasps in surprise. "Aren't you the officer who came to our village yesterday?" Hearing that, the officer's face drops. "Are you two from Liu family village?" Seeing the two of them nod, his heart sinks to his stomach. How did I end up offending the Immortal Lord again? No, this is obviously the Immortal Lord's idea. Why else would regular people take a scholar out of the city? Maybe the Immortal Lord is watching me right now. I can't mess up again. The officer is sweating profusely. He stammers. "You two can go ahead. We're just having a look." Liu Qi and Liu Ping look at each other. They both smile, thank him, and leave without any trouble. Juzi was already waiting there early, leading 2 sheep. "Where's the scholar?" "No one wants to come with us. We almost got arrested just now. Luckily, we ran into the officer who came to the village yesterday. We got away lucky. We can only go look among the refugees outside the city. Maybe we'll find one there." The Imperial Court has really strict rules on iron products, so Liu Qi said they were for farming use, and bought a batch of iron farming tools. He thought they'd have to bribe someone to get out of the city. But unexpectedly, Xiao Li, who was guarding the gate this time, only glanced at them and let them pass right away. As they left the city, the guy lying by the city gate was already gone. He left Liu Ping and Juzi to guard the sheep and iron tools. Then Liu Qi walked alone toward the refugee gathering spot. Suddenly he caught a whiff of meaty aroma. He looked in the direction the smell came from. He saw a broken pot set up on the empty ground. The stuff inside was bright red, and right next to the pot, there was a round, chubby human head. The guy who was lying by the city gate earlier had been eaten. When they saw Liu Qi coming closer, the refugees turned vicious. They pulled out rusty metal shards they carried and glowered at Liu Qi. Liu Qi was super nervous. He carefully kept his distance from the refugees. He walked quickly toward the center of the refugee camp. Liu Qi shouted loudly, "Is there any scholar here? Our village needs a scholar to manage our food supplies. I'm a scholar. Take me with you. I can do accounts, and I only need 1 bowl of porridge a day." But Liu Qi could see at a glance. These were all ordinary refugees. After all, they couldn't copy the unique aura of a scholar. A flash of pity crossed his eyes, but the village couldn't afford to feed so many people right now. He thought for a moment. Liu Qi sighed. He took out the dried, salted fish from his pocket and handed them out. What a shame. I still couldn't bring a scholar back for the immortal lord. However, the vicious refugees had seen all of Liu Qi's kind act. He hadn't realized yet what kind of danger this would bring them. Wait, just when Liu Qi was disheartened and about to leave, a weak voice called out. Liu Qi turned his head. He saw a young man walking shakily toward him. "I'll go with you." Although the man looked completely disheveled, the unique aura of a scholar still lingered on him. Liu Qi was overjoyed. He nodded quickly and said, "Come with me." But the young man put forward a condition to Liu Qi. "You mean you'll only come with us if we take this guy too?" Liu Qi frowned and looked at the big man next to the young man. "This is my brother. He's protected me all the way here. I really can't leave him behind and go alone. Besides, he's extremely skilled with a spear. He'll be no less useful than I am." Liu Qi started looking the big man up and down carefully. The man had really sharp eyes, and his shoulders were really broad. He had an unusually large frame. There was a thick layer of calluses on his knuckles. You could tell he's been practicing martial arts for years. Maybe the immortal lord can make use of a talent like him. Fine, that works then. Let's go. Young master, are you really sure about this? There's no turning back once you go with them, you know, Wei Shi whispered to the ragged young master of the Miao family. What other choice do I have? Either way, we're gonna die anyway. Instead of waiting around to die here, I might as well take a gamble, Miao Jiming said with a bitter smile. I'm dragging you into this, though. If it weren't for me, you'd never end up in a situation like this. Don't say that, young master. Back when we were in the manor, if you hadn't taken care of me, I wouldn't be alive today, that's for sure. Wei Shi shook his head and said seriously, so what if we're joining a rebellion? With your knowledge, you'll definitely get a good position in their stronghold. Turns out, from the very beginning, Miao Jiming had noticed Liu Qi and his men. They looked like country folks, but their complexions were even better than people living in the city. They even had money to buy sheep and iron tools in the city. He thought they were from some rebel stronghold. He never thought that one day he'd be reduced to scrounging for food just to stay alive. Miao Jiming sighed. He felt like his life was stuck in a deep mud pit. After bringing Miao Jiming and his companion back, Liu Qi noticed something was wrong. Almost all the surrounding refugees were slowly moving toward them. They quietly surrounded Liu Qi and his group. Let's go. The situation is urgent right now. If we delay any longer, all these people will swarm at us, and we won't be able to get away. However, a small group of refugees still followed closely behind them. As they got further and further away from the city, more and more refugees joined the crowd following them. Here, you guys eat this first. Liu Qi handed the dried, salted fish slices to Miao Jiming and Wei Shu. If those refugees charge at us later, you'll have the energy to run. Sir, can I ask you something? Do you have people meeting up with you? Iron Mountain God General will be waiting for us at the village entrance. We'll be there soon. Iron Mountain is what the villagers call the Iron Golem. What? There's only one person, and he's some kind of God General. Aren't you guys starting a rebellion? How come you have so few people? Miao Jiming's eyes went wide with shock. Who said we're starting a rebellion? Liu Qi quickly denied it. Don't spout nonsense like that. Then why are you looking for scholars? The Immortal Lord told me to find scholars. As for the reason, we have no idea either. Miao Jiming felt like the sky had caved in. That so-called Immortal Lord was just a fraud, using the name of a deity to swindle people. That so-called Iron Mountain General was probably scammed too. He's probably just an ordinary guy who thinks he's invulnerable to weapons. Living with these people is worse than lying down and dying outside the city. Just then, a commotion broke out in the refugee crowd behind them. A man with a face full of scars walked towards Liu Qi and others with a sneer. "I'm here to make a deal with you. You have 2 sheep, right? Just give us 1, that's all we need." "Only 1 sheep. We'll leave right away." "No, that's impossible. We can't give it to him no matter what." Miao Jiming's heart skipped a beat. "If we hand over this sheep, they'll never be satisfied. They'll only demand more. We might not even make it out alive then." Liu Qi knew this truth perfectly well too. But if we refuse directly, they'll charge at us anyway. The best way is to stall. "Hey, you big guy. Do you know how to use a sword?" "I'm best at using a spear, but I can use a sword too." "All right, you can use all these. They're just going to waste on me." Watching Liu Qi hand over the wooden sword and leather boots, Wei Shi looked confused. What's the use of this wooden thing? But the moment he took the equipment, he immediately noticed something unusual about it. It clearly looked like a wooden sword, but it felt very sharp to him. The boots automatically expanded when they got close to him, and they perfectly fit the size of his feet. What is this? Why is it so magical? Wei Shi only realized at this moment, things might not be as simple as he thought. The person who invited them over, even if he's not a real deity, is at least a talented person who knows Taoist magic. These are magical artifacts the Immortal Lord left us for self-defense. There's no time to explain more right now. "Hey, you scholar, take these things and leave first. You'll be safe once you reach the woods. If that's too much to ask, at least give us some food. We're all ordinary civilians too. We just suffered from a famine. All our family members are dead." Seeing the young man about to leave with the sheep, the scar-faced man cried like he was heartbroken. "Watch out!" Miao Jiming hurriedly called out to warn them. Before anyone noticed, the scar-faced man had slowly approached Liu Qi while sobbing. He suddenly pulled a broken blade from his waist and stabbed towards Liu Qi. Liu Qi only survived because of the warning. Seeing his trick was exposed, the scar-faced man stopped putting on an act. "Fine, since you won't give us anything, we'll just rob you directly. Boys, let's go get them. Kill all of them. Grab the sheep. We'll split everything equally." Spurred on by the words, the refugees, their eyes turned blood red and rushed over like crazy. "Hurry up! We'll hold them off here! Make sure you bring everything back to the village. Watch out!" Wei Shi cut down the refugee in front of him with one sword strike. He turned around and kicked another refugee who tried to sneak attack him. Although the refugees didn't have much fighting power, there were just way too many of them. Soon the group started gasping for breath. If it weren't for the immortal energy protection the Immortal Lord gave them, they would have been unable to hold on long ago, but the desperate thing still happened. The boots suddenly exploded and vanished without a trace. "Ha ha ha! You can't run away now. Stay here and become Grandpa's meal." Seeing the group lost their protection, the refugees laughed crazily and stepped forward again. "I'll charge forward and fight a way out for you. Remember to take good care of my young master." But Liu Ping just smiled. "Since we joined the group, we're all our own people. I never went to school, but I'll never leave my people behind. Worst case, I just die. The Immortal Lord will reincarnate me into a good family anyway. Ha ha ha, what a real man. We'll be brothers again in the next life." Wei Shi roared loudly, using up the last bit of his strength, and rushed forward. On the other side, Miao Jiming was running out of strength. His feet felt as heavy as if they were filled with lead. His consciousness was also slowly fading away, but he didn't dare stop. He bit down hard on his own tongue to barely stay awake. Finally, a surreal scene unfolded before his eyes. In the distance was a thick, lush jungle, totally different from the withered surroundings. It looked just like a fairyland from a painting. Miao Jiming was stunned. It hasn't rained for months. How did these plants even grow? As that green line got closer and closer, through his blurry vision, a figure finally came into view. Backup is finally here. Hurry, go save the people back there. The moment he saw someone coming, Miao Jiming couldn't hold on any longer. Before he could make out who was in front of him, he passed out cold. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. An iron figure stood up, its eyes turning bright red. The villagers it protected were under attack. The iron golem was enraged. The man was originally a talented young master from a noble family, but now for a bite of leftover food, he was willing to become a bandit. He thought he was stuck in the mud forever, never to get back on his feet. Unexpectedly, because of Huo Defu, he opened the door to a whole new world. Hurry, go save the people behind us! Right after saying that, Miao Jiming's eyes went black, and he fainted. The iron golem guarding the village was instantly enraged, its eyes turning blood red. Just when the refugees were about to turn in, Liu Ping and the others A loud rumbling vibration suddenly sounded. Monster! The terrified refugees turned around. They barely ran a few steps. The next second, they were sent flying by the charging iron golem. Seeing that giant iron creature like a god of death, completely unbeatable, the guard quickly turned and yelled at Liu Qi and the others. Why haven't you run yet? Run fast, don't worry, we're fine. Juzi let out a long sigh of relief and collapsed straight onto the ground. He looked at the iron figure with adoration in his eyes. That's the Iron Mountain General under the Immortal Lord. We're saved. Is that really the general? Weishi stood there frozen in shock. The iron golem quickly took care of all the refugees, then turned its head to look at Wei Shi. Wei Shi felt a chill spread all over his body instantly. Years of combat instinct was screaming warnings at him. Never fight back, or you'll die right away. No need to be nervous, Iron Mountain General. He's on our side. Come on, we should go meet the Immortal Lord now. Oh, okay. The guard snapped back to his senses and swallowed hard. If even the general is this fierce and powerful, what kind of person would the Immortal Lord be? What an extraordinary young master. I think we've run into someone really incredible this time. Where is this? Miao Jiming woke up in a strange white room. His injuries had healed without him noticing. After walking out of the room, he was totally dumbfounded. Just now, he was actually staying inside a giant red mushroom. Then he looked around and was even more shocked. Every house in the village in front of him was actually hung with, am I dead already? Or am I hallucinating? Weren't we in a drought? Where did all this fish and meat come from? Where the hell am I? Miao Jiming was completely flustered, but even weirder things were still to come. He followed the sound of voices and walked over to take a look. He saw a group of people wearing straw hats praying in the field. Right after that, a giant red mushroom appeared out of nowhere. Not far away, there was a wooden platform with lots of grilled fish on it that was still steaming. The exhausted Straw Hat villagers walked over to the platform, ate the grilled fish, and suddenly got all energetic again to go back to work. This is so weird, way too weird. On the other side, on an empty lot not far away, a young man in white was standing by a pond, swinging a fishing rod to fish. Seeing this scene, Miao Jiming's face turned serious. He already had an answer in his mind. That young man had an extraordinary aura, totally out of place with the surrounding villagers. He was probably the mysterious Immortal Lord mentioned when he was half-conscious. To figure out what was going on right now, Miao Jiming gritted his teeth and plucked up the courage to walk over. I'm Miao Jiming. Thank you so much for saving my life. Sensing that Miao Jiming was scared, I moved a little, gesturing for him to sit next to me. It's no big deal, don't be nervous. We're not bad people. Just call me Bai Ling. Come sit and chat for a while. Well, if you insist, I won't refuse your kindness. Miao Jiming bowed and sat down 1 meter away from me, but his tense body didn't relax even a little bit. Though the young man in front of him looked no older than he was, but he wasn't stupid enough to treat him as an equal. Lost in thought, he snuck a glance at the pond. He found there was absolutely nothing in the water. What's more, there was no bait on the fishing rod at all. He couldn't help feeling really confused. What do you think of this village? Is the Immortal testing me? He recalled what he had just seen and heard. Every household had more fish and meat than they could eat hanging up. There was running water that seemed like it would never run out. Everyone had a relaxed, happy smile on their face. He was dumbfounded for a moment. When he came to his senses, he sighed sincerely that people lived and worked in peace. It's just like the Peach Blossom Spring written by Mr. Jingjai. It's so fascinating. The whole world is in chaos right now. Senior Bai, your magic powers are so strong. You definitely don't have to fear this chaotic era. But I can see you care a lot about this village. In the future, I'm afraid you'll get stuck in the mire of fights between officials and bandits. I bet that's also why you asked the villagers to go buy iron tools. He paused for a moment. He continued, since the village has surplus food, you must have your own way of getting food. If you want this chaotic era Peach Blossom Spring to thrive, you must have enough manpower and also need capable people to manage it. That must be the reason why I'm here. That's so awesome. I didn't even say anything yet. He already figured everything out. I was over the moon inside. At first I only wanted to hire a librarian. I didn't expect to get such a huge treasure. What you said is almost exactly what I thought, I said shamelessly. Not bad at all. You passed my test. I'll leave all the village management matters to you from now on. Yes, I understand. Miao Jiming reacted calmly. He still looked lifeless as before. After all, he had the talent to govern the world. But the chaotic times reduced him to living with refugees. Now he even has to humble himself just for a bite to eat, and has to lower his head to live under someone else's roof. He must be really unwilling in his heart. I need to find a way to reignite his fighting spirit. Thinking of that, My fishing rod moved slightly. Right after that, a huge fish flew up as I lifted the rod. It turned into a streak of golden light, and I stored it in my space grid. What's going on here? Miao Jiming saw this miracle up close and was secretly shocked. So that's how the village gets its fish. Come with me. I put away my fishing rod and smiled at him. I led him to the chicken coop. I took out some wheat seeds and thought feed silently at the two chickens. Then a live chick appeared out of thin air. This is literally the power of an immortal. Only then did Miao Jiming realize how shallow his previous understanding was. There really are immortals in this world. These chickens grow up in just a few days, and they can lay eggs without being fed at all. As long as we have enough chickens, no one will have to go hungry. We will have a brand new era by then. All of this exists because of you. If you leave someday, won't everything go back to the way it was? I will always be here. So, do you want to witness this golden age arrive? With me? My voice was full of temptation. Miao Jiming stared at me blankly for a moment and couldn't say a single word. He thought of his past self, who dreamed of bringing peace to the world and studied the classics hard for that goal. He also thought of his mother, who cared so much about his future that she worried herself to death. His eyes got moist. He couldn't hold back his tears anymore. He finally understood why his mother prayed to the gods every single day. At this moment, he had found his own faith. After letting out all his emotions, his gaze became sharp again, and he knelt down in front of me solemnly. I am Miao Jiming, and I am willing to serve you with all my might. Perfect. I nodded in satisfaction. Just then, there was noise coming from outside the village. Lu Qi and the others were brought back by the iron golem. Greetings, young Master Bai. We brought all the things back. Young Master Miao, you're okay. Madam Wei, you're okay too. That's great, that's so great. Just then, Madam Wei noticed that her young master's gaze had changed. It was that look full of passion and disdain for everything. Her old young master was back. From that moment on, Madam Wei had no more doubts in her heart, and she also knelt down respectfully in front of me. I am Wei, and I would go through fire and water for you. Haha, very good, very good. Now that's what a real warrior looks like. Once we train a large group of soldiers in the future, that's going to be such a spectacular sight, right? Thanks so much for all your hard work, guys. But the situation is really critical right now. We can't afford to waste a single second. I need you to head out again and run errands for me. First, eat these grilled fish to get your energy back. Inside the ancient thatched clinic in Chengcheng, the Dr. Jimingji just pulled his hand back after taking the patient's pulse. How is it, Master Ji? The patient asked anxiously. From your symptoms, you've caught a cold pathogen, but it's nothing serious at all. Take the medicine according to this prescription. Just recuperate slowly and you'll be fine. Seeing the patient still looked worried, Ji Mingzi added to comfort him. Don't worry, this medicine won't cost you much. Thank you so much, Senior Ji. Led the patient out of the clinic. Ji Mingji sighed heavily. His eyes were filled with deep helplessness and frustration. He knew that the disease people were infected with was actually incurable. The medicine just gives them a little comfort, that's all. But the imperial court is completely corrupt. They are doing absolutely nothing about this plague. Is this world really totally beyond saving? Just then, a burly man wearing leather boots showed up at the door. He was a fully armed guard. Excuse me, are you Mr. Ji Mingji? That's me. What brings you here, sir? Traditional Chinese medicine uses 4 diagnosis methods. Look, listen, question, and take pulse. The guard had a ruddy, glowing complexion. He was clearly in his right mind. His eyes were bright and alert. He obviously didn't come here to see a doctor. I've long heard you have superb medical skills, Senior Ji. I happened to get a magical medicine by chance. It can regrow bones on skeletons and bring the dead back to life. I wonder if you'd be interested in it, Mr. Ji. Regrow bones and bring the dead back to life. How can you prove that? Ji Mingzi almost laughed out loud at that. He's studied medicine since he was a kid, even if he won't call his skills perfect. He's been treating patients for decades. How could he believe there's a medicine that can raise the dead? No problem now. Please don't be alarmed, you two. Wei Shi took out a small knife and slashed a deep cut hard on his own arm. Oh, sir, why are you doing this to yourself? Xinan, go get the medicine quick. Ji Mingji stood up in a hurry and walked quickly toward Wei Shi, planning to press his acupoints to stop the bleeding. There's no need to panic, sir. Wei Shi pulled out an apple. Take a good look at this wound. This is the so-called magical medicine, a wild fruit. Seeing this absurd scene in front of him, Ji Mingji frowned. The next second, his scalp went numb with shock. His eyes were wide with disbelief. As Wei Shi ate the fruit, the cut actually started healing and scabbing over at a speed visible to the naked eye. And then the scab fell off completely. How is this possible? Ji Mingji grabbed Wei Shi's arm immediately and checked it over and over, but the wound was completely gone. All that was left was smooth, fair skin. He knew what he just saw wasn't an illusion. If you don't believe me, sir, I can demonstrate it for you again. No, I believe you.
I really believe you.
Ji Mingji looked at the half-eaten magical fruit heartbrokenly. What a waste just to prove it's real. This magical treasure that can regrow bones and raise the dead is already half gone. How many people could this have saved? All right, name your price. What do you want? Ji Mingji stared hard at the half-eaten apple. It took him a long time to tear his gaze away from it. What if I told you? There's also a magical medicine that can cure every disease in the world. The guard had an extremely serious expression on his face. He said word for word, every disease in the world. Can it cure the lump disease? Ji Mingji took a deep breath and asked, the lump disease, which is what we call the bubonic plague. He realized the common people might actually be saved now. Of course it can. I can give you everything I have, whether it's this clinic or even my old life. Ji Mingji was terrified of missing this opportunity. Just tell me where this medicine is right now. Sir, the Immortal Lord invites you to meet him. The Immortal Lord? Could it be? Ji Mingji could barely speak. He raised a trembling hand and pointed to the sky. Seeing the guard nod in confirmation, his mind went completely blank for a second. Of course. This magical medicine that can regrow bones and raise the dead, and cure all diseases could never come from the mortal world. An immortal has come down to the mortal world. The common people are finally saved. As he stood in silence, a few tears rolled down Ji Mingji's wrinkled face. I apologize for making a fool of myself in front of you, sir. You don't have to call me sir.
If you don't mind, Master Ji.
You can just call me guard. Just thinking that he was actually invited by the Immortal Lord, Ji Mingji could only think. All the good deeds he'd done in his life weren't for nothing. Let's go right now. He couldn't wait to fly over and meet the Immortal from heaven. The next second, he suddenly realized a problem. If that's the case, why didn't the Immortal Lord remember it himself? Immortals and mortals are totally different. The Immortal Lord is a free spirit in the heavens. He just can't stand seeing people suffer. That's why he came down to the mortal world. His powers are suppressed by the messy mortal world. Right now, he can only reach the scope of one small village. He's here to save all the ordinary people. That's why the Immortal Lord sent us mortals, to handle tasks in the city, since that's how it is. Shinan, take the kids and go with him, okay? Ji Mingji turned to his son. Ji Shinan after he finished speaking, and cupped his hands towards the guard again. My son is a bit slow-witted, but he stayed with me for so many years, and picked up quite a few skills. His medical skills aren't exactly master level, but he's still one of the top doctors in this city. Just let him go with you. Dad, at a time like this, are you still planning to stay and guard the pharmacy? Yeah, old G. Rebels are popping up everywhere right now. Once the city gate falls, your life will be in huge danger. That's exactly why I can't leave. Ji Mingji's gaze was firm. He looked at the big Chinese character for human hanging high on the pharmacy wall. If I leave, the ordinary folks in this city will have nowhere to go for medical help. But Dad, Ji Shinan tried to say more, but Ji Mingji waved him off to stop. Shinan, if you go with them, your wife and my grandson will stay safe. Besides, Shinan, I want you to go and see it for me, what that miracle medicine that cures all diseases really is. I understand, Dad. Ji Xinyan nodded in agreement, tears filling his eyes. Old Ji, you're such a righteous man. I truly admire you. After Ji Xinan finished packing his things, they brought Ji Xinan's whole family, the guard, Liu Qi, and others to meet up. Liu Qi was already waiting there with a group of guards. Just then, waves of fighting sounds came from outside the city. July of the 7th year of the Tianqi reign, the Ming dynasty suffered from consecutive years of famine. Taxes were heavily increased. The common people were living in total misery. Finally, a peasant uprising broke out in Weibei, Guangzhong, Shanxi. This girl just went out to fetch a bucket of water. When she came back, she found all villagers had been killed. Even her mother was assaulted and died right in front of her. But she didn't dare make a single sound. She was scared the government soldiers would cruelly kill her next. Reporting, sir. We didn't find any rebels in the village. All the grain is right here. Damn it. Why do I have to get stuck with this garbage task? Patrol officer Shi Wuzhen kept cursing nonstop. For killing those innocent villagers. He didn't feel any guilt at all. Rebel Wanger led the peasant uprising and directly captured this city. All the official grain in the granary was taken completely. The grain was stolen by those peasants. So what's wrong with me taking it back? Blame that damned rebel. Wanger, this whole mess is all his fault. Sir, what do we do with these kids? Should we kill them? These kids are no threat to us. Just leave them here to fend for themselves. No need to waste our energy on them. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! We found it! We found it! We found a village a few miles nearby. It's called Liu Family Village. There are more than 100 people there. It should be the rebel headquarters. What? Great. Wonger, I've finally found you, you rebel. We can't rush this matter. Let's go back to the city first and gather our men. This time we must catch all rebels in one go. After all the government soldiers left, the girl stood at the village entrance in a daze. Just then, she spotted a tall white figure passing by in the distance. Curiosity drove her to follow behind it. She didn't expect she would end up in a forest that looked like a fairyland. Mom, look. Why is that mushroom so big? Ji Shinan's youngest son just entered the village and kept asking excited questions non-stop. And those guards all had their mouths wide open in shock. In front of them, every house in the village had fishing rods hanging outside the door. We really came to the right place. The guards looked at each other and smiled, super glad they made the right choice. Then, I asked everyone to drink the milk I prepared earlier. They were happily surprised to find their bodies felt totally refreshed. Ji Sinan even cried while holding the empty bucket. There really is a miracle medicine that can cure all diseases. Next, Lu Qi reported to me what happened in the county town. Looks like we need to step up building our combat forces. After all, this is such a big village. It's not enough to rely only on iron golems for protection. I turned to Miao Jiming and said, there will only be more and more bandits coming next. So we have to pick up weapons to protect ourselves. The task of training soldiers is up to you. And the guards, we will follow your military orders to the letter. There is one more thing, sir, Miao Jiming said nervously. We have surplus food in the village. Wang Ergo led peasants in surrounding villages to rise up in revolt. All the villagers left here are very experienced farmers. I think the village might need these people right now. Should we go bring them over? I looked at his nervous face and couldn't help laughing. Of course, we should help these people as much as we can. Miao Jiming breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that. Thank you, our village chief. A kid is coming towards us. A kid? I looked in the direction Liu Xiaoer was pointing. I saw a skinny little girl standing timidly at the village entrance. Her face was sallow. Her clothes were tattered and worn out. It looked like she hadn't eaten for days. Big brother, they all say you're an immortal who came down from heaven. Are you really an immortal? She stepped forward. A glimmer of hope showed in her dull pupils. People around all looked over with expectant eyes. I started to feel torn. Do I really deserve to be called an immortal? After I came to this world, I've taken on way too many expectations before I knew it. But can I really save these people? As I thought, my gaze gradually grew firm. Amid everyone's anticipation, I gave my answer. Of course I'm an immortal. Relax, no one will go hungry on my watch. Thank you, immortal brother. The girl's eyes lit up. She smiled through her tears. Thank you for coming down from heaven to see us. Even Miao Jiming, who rarely smiles, broke into a grin. Our Lord is so righteous. Everyone dropped to their knees and started kowtowing. But this time I didn't step away. I quietly accepted their bows. Just then, a notification popped up on my status bar. Buff obtained, Village Hero. I squatted down slightly. To be eye level with the girl, you don't have to be scared here. I'll protect all of you. The girl nodded hard. Thank you, immortal brother. When I got back to the house, I immediately started making profession blocks. I used slabs to craft the lectern, the profession block for librarians. Then I crafted the stonecutter for stonemasons one after another, the weaponsmith's grindstone, and the swordsmith's forging table. Everything was ready. I lay on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. This is the first time since I transmigrated that I've taken life so seriously. When I woke up the next day, I walked into the village. I found that the work of the craftsmen had all been assigned according to different needs. Miao Jiming is such a talent. I couldn't help sighing in my heart. But when I saw the training over at the guard's side, I gasped in shock. I saw those villagers flushed with excitement, stabbing their own bodies hard with their swords. They didn't stop until the guards shouted. Then they quickly ate the grilled fish to recover. Is it really necessary to be this harsh? We only focus on offense, fighting to the death with enemies. This is after I considered the conditions of Liu Village that I think is most suitable for training soldiers. With the magic fish, we can make sure villagers recover from their injuries quickly. The most important thing is the morale of Liu Village. Even if only one person is left alive, they should dare to fight the enemy to the death. Seeing that none of the villagers complained about this, I couldn't say much about it. Just then, a villager on guard came to report. The government officials have finally found us. How is the village's defense? Sir Wei, the village barely has any defenses. Only a few men with wooden swords are guarding the village entrance. Is there anything unusual about it? There is something unusual, but it doesn't seem dangerous at all. There are a lot of mushroom-shaped houses around the village, and a huge square building made of wood blocks. There might be something important hidden inside. Haha. Looks like these rebels are just a bunch of fools. Cavalry, charge with me. Everyone else follow, kill them all. But just as the cavalry was about to charge forward, those men didn't even hide or step back. This made Wu Zhen laugh even more wildly. They actually want to block the cavalry charge with their bodies. They're really tired of living. He yelled at the cavalry, "Speed up, kill anyone who blocks the way." Just then the villagers took out bone meal one after another. They chanted oaths silently at the pits in front of them. In an instant, huge red mushrooms sprouted from the ground and formed a solid mushroom wall, stopping the cavalry's charge completely. The cavalry couldn't slow down in time. They all slammed straight into the mushroom wall and fell off their horses in total chaos. Wu Zhen stared at the red wall in front of him, totally dumbfounded. This whole thing was way too weird, making him zone out for a second, but he snapped back to his senses right away and yelled, "Break this crap down for me. Kill all these rebels. I'll pay you per head you take down. Go get the bounty, kill them. Chop those rebels down, grab the bounty." Seeing the red mushroom wall posed no threat at all, the soldiers stepped forward and hacked at it like crazy. The mushroom wall was broken through in no time. A huge white figure appeared right in front of them. What the hell is this thing? The whole scene fell into an eerie silence. By the order of the Immortal Lord, hand over your leader. Everyone else who surrenders will be spared. After Miao Jiming finished speaking, several more villagers wearing leather armor and holding wooden swords walked out. Don't be scared, we have way more people. There's no way we can lose, right? Someone in the crowd egged them on. Then an arrow shot straight at Wei Shi's head. A clear clinking sound came from his forehead. The arrow bounced right off and fell to the ground. The soldiers watched this scene in total disbelief, sensing the villagers were attacked. The Iron Golem got furious and charged straight at the soldiers. In the final moments of his life, the archer got to experience what flying felt like. "Monster, run for your lives!" All the soldiers lost their fighting spirit instantly and scattered in all directions. "Chase them! Break their legs! Bring them back!" Wei Shi ordered loudly. The villagers chased all the fleeing soldiers back. Soon the ground was full of people either kneeling or lying down. The only one left uncaught was leader Wu Zhen. "Liu Ping, you haven't caught him yet. You're the fastest runner here. Go after him." It turned out, Wu Zhen ran away the second he saw the Iron Golem, but he was horrified to find he was already running out of stamina. But the guy chasing him behind didn't show any sign of slowing down at all. He saw that big man shoving something into his mouth nonstop, and his speed was actually getting faster and faster. "Don't kill me. Don't kill me. I surrender." Seeing he couldn't escape at all, sir, Wu Zhen just knelt down and begged for mercy. But when Liu Ping walked right up to him, he suddenly pulled out a small knife and stabbed at him. But the knife hit the leather armor and shattered immediately. What the hell is happening here? "You're such a sneaky evil bastard." Liu Ping hit his neck with a hand chop and knocked Wu Zhen out cold. When he was half conscious, Wu Zhen heard a man's voice. Most of these laborers were forced to join the army. They're poor innocent folks. Let them stay and work with the villagers. As for the small number of people who committed countless evils, send them all to Lord White Immortal. Yes, sir. I don't know how much time passed. Wu Zhen was woken up by a hard slap to the face. He was already in the basement I built. A few other soldiers with desperate faces were sitting around him. That's their leader. I thought the rebel Wang was hiding in this village. That's why I made this huge mistake. Wu Zhen's voice was trembling badly. He mumbled, "Please, Immortal Lord. Since I had no idea what was going on, please spare my life. I'll do anything you want." But I already learned from other prisoners. Wu Zhen was the worst out of all these people. "Relax, I'm not gonna kill you." I gave a wicked grin. "I just need you guys to help with some things." Over the next few days, I had a really productive time. I got tons of important information from my experiments. Food can't directly regrow missing body parts, but if you reattach the broken part first, eating food works. Large area skin burns can also be healed with food. The venom of MCBs is extremely potent. It can kill a person in less than a minute, and it causes extreme pain when it takes effect. Milk can be used as the antidote. I walked into the basement with a satisfied smile. Everyone was huddled in the corner, looking completely hopeless. "He's here! That devil's here again!" Wu Zhen pressed himself tightly against the wall, his body shaking uncontrollably. "Everyone except the leader can leave now. But you have to continue labor reform in the village. If you behave properly, the village will give you food to eat. If you don't..." Hearing this, the soldiers were all crying their eyes out, knelt down and kowtowed to thank me. Get lost right now. After chasing everyone else away, I headed straight for Wu Zhen's fancy private room. Please just kill me. I really have no idea. Grandpa Immortal is here. Please just put me out of my misery. Wu Jin's mental defense completely crumbled. Though he looked completely unharmed, he had already endured unimaginable torture. Come with me to finish the final experiment, I said calmly, opened the door and gestured for him to follow. But Wu Jin tried so hard to stand up. His legs were shaking like crazy. He was obviously too scared to move at all. I had to walk over and grab him up. Don't move around later. I won't be responsible if you fall early. As I carried Wu Jin, I stacked wood blocks under my feet. I also took a bucket and placed a full one on the ground. In MC, as long as you land in water, no matter how high you fall from, you won't get hurt at all. Right now, he's the perfect test subject to see if this feature works here. As the blocks stacked higher and higher, Wu Jin got more and more panicked. What is he gonna do? Seeing the people below were as tiny as ants, Wu Jin felt like he was going crazy. That's enough. I stood excitedly on the platform, looking down at the land far below. I've always wanted to try bungee jumping, but I never got the chance. Who knew my first time would be ropeless bungee jumping? This is so damn exciting! The second Wu Jin touched the platform surface. He collapsed completely. Too scared to look down. Wu Jin, that's your name, right? Yes, sir, that's my name. Listen carefully. This is your final experiment. I'm not going to take you down with me, but if you truly regret what you did, you'll be saved naturally. After saying that, I turned and took a deep breath, spread my arms wide. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Immortal, sir, please don't. I tried my best to fight off the fear in my heart. Keeping my eyes wide open, the magnificent scenery flashed before my eyes. I couldn't help but yell out. The voice was so loud it reached the clouds. All the nearby villagers looked up. Lord Bai Immortal is falling from the sky. Everyone rushed anxiously towards where I was going to land. I laid quietly on the ground, looking at the sky and laughing. This world is so much fun. Boss, are you okay? Liuer ran up anxiously, gasping for breath. Ha ha ha, I'm fine, totally fine. I'll take you with me next time. I walked through the village in a great mood. Stretches of golden wheat in the distance swayed in the wind, shimmering with golden light. Ever since I left the village to Miao Jiming's management, all matters big and small in the village have been arranged perfectly in order. In less than a week, we've merged with several surrounding villages, but now that I've captured the Imperial Court's inspector, the regular army might attack us any day. Not to mention the number of bandits has exploded recently. I need to speed up building the village's defense works. Luckily, after becoming the village hero, I got lava from the gifts villagers gave me. Now it's time to build Wall Maria. If you new guys aren't full, come get more helpings. We have more than enough. Gao Feiguang stared blankly at the steamed bun in his hand. After being released, these militiamen were assigned to build the city wall. Not only were they no longer abused, they even got to eat full meals every day. Our team moved the most blocks today. The supervisor even gave us eggs as a bonus. Phew, I'm full, so full. Life is so good these days. Right, totally right. Not like when we were in the army before. We were swamped with endless work, never got enough to eat, and our pay was always embezzled. Luckily, I didn't manage to escape back then. Thank the God General for breaking my leg. Otherwise, I wouldn't have such a good life now. Well, you're not as smart as me. I knelt down immediately back then. Didn't even hesitate for a second. The militiamen joked with each other, looking super happy. I heard if we perform well, we might even get to join the village's army. The benefits are way better than what we get now. Not only do you get meat every day, you also get the immortal power granted by the immortal. It's getting late. Before going to bed, everyone has to take a shower first, the team leader said to Gao Feiguang and the others. That's such a luxury, wow. Gao Feiguang drew a full bucket of water from the edge of the pool and sighed with emotion. Earlier, they couldn't even bear to drink water casually, but now they even have more than enough water to take showers. After they finished showering, the militiamen followed their leader and arrived in front of a red mushroom-shaped house. You guys can sleep right here. That night, Gao Feiguang lay inside the soft mushroom house and couldn't fall asleep for ages. Everything that happened during the day felt like the most beautiful dream he'd ever had. He never expected that he would actually get to live a good life one day. Just then, someone quietly crept up to him in the dark. We're planning to escape under the cover of night. Want to come with us? Is anyone there, Grandpa Immortal? Can you hear me? I really know I messed up, sir. I beg you, please let me go down. Wu Jin was cold and hungry, huddled into a ball on the platform. He was so terrified. Not just because he was high up in the air, but also because he had to face his own conscience. He was scared that after he died, he would have to face all the innocent people he had slaughtered. At this moment, he finally started to reflect on his actions. A scumbag like me deserves to die 10,000 times, right? On the other side, facing an obviously unreasonable proposal, Gao Feiguang hesitated. He had a reason that forced him to go back. Once you're registered as a military household, your family will be military households for generations. Also, military households must ensure there is always one soldier serving at all times. Otherwise, the corresponding military household has to provide another male to fill the position. If he didn't go back, his little brother would take his place and serve in the army. At a time like this, if his little brother went to serve, that's basically sending him to his death, right? Aren't you scared Immortal Bai will find out? Immortal Bai's powers are suppressed. He probably can't hear us. Otherwise, we would have been caught yesterday. Immortal Bai, some people fled Lugia village last night, following your instructions. We didn't stop them. Miao Jiming paused for a moment and continued speaking. When the militiamen found out this morning after waking up, they were all filled with righteous anger and wanted to help us catch those escapees back. The atmosphere in the camp is really heavy right now. Everyone is scared you will blame them and kick them out. Of course they escaped. Actually, I've known about the Ming Dynasty military household system for a long time. If the eldest son dies, the second son takes his place. If all sons die, the father takes their place. As long as there is an adult male in the family, they have to go fill the vacant position. All of them have their own weaknesses. They had no other choice. If anyone else wants to leave later, prepare 3 days' worth of food for them to take with them. Yes, Immortal, you are so righteous and generous. Miao Jiming looked at my figure reverently. It's such a blessing to have an immortal like Immortal Bai in this chaotic world. What would we do without you, Immortal? Gao Feiguang and the others snuck out of the mushroom house quietly, only to find Wei Shu standing outside the door, who caught them red-handed, just when they thought they would be punished. What Wei Shu said left them stunned. This is the food we prepared for you guys. Each of you take 3 days' worth of rations before you leave. Thank you so much, sir. All the militiamen were so moved that they cried their eyes out, even after they had walked far away. Gao Feiguang and the others still looked back from time to time. If I ever get the chance to come back in this life, I will definitely serve Immortal Bai with all my might. Late at night, Miao Jiming sat in front of the house and couldn't calm down for a long time. Village Chief, do you know what Immortal Bai usually likes? Why are you asking about this all of a sudden? Liu Dexi said with a grin. Immortal Bai thinks highly of you, right? Why bother going through all this trouble? Miao Jiming shook his head and explained. To be honest with you, Village Chief, I grew up in a magistrate's mansion when I was little. Back when my family still had some money, I used to hang out and have fun with those rich kids too. The things they ate and used were totally different from ours. You mean, this place is way too boring for Immortal Bai? Miao Jiming nodded. No one has ever heard of an immortal actually descending to the mortal world for thousands of years. Now I know it's because immortals and mortals are fundamentally different. Immortal Bai can withstand the suppression of the mortal world, which means he is one of the top immortals among all celestial beings. His status in the heavenly court is probably extremely high. His original life must be way better than even the Emperor's. It's definitely something we can't even imagine. Then, he pointed at the tall wooden sign that reached straight up to the sky. Maybe Immortal Bai misses his old life in the heavenly court. That's why he wants to go back up to take a look. But his powers haven't recovered yet, so he can only barely get up there with these external items. But Immortal Bai cares deeply about the common people. He didn't want to leave us behind without a word. Just then, a scream came from the sky. Wu Zhen actually jumped down from the sky on his own. I don't know how much time passed. He woke up on the bed with a confused look. Where am I? The next second, all his memories came flooding back. Turns out he thought he didn't deserve to live anymore. So he just jumped straight down from the sky. But he didn't die miraculously. The immortal grandpa didn't lie to me. He was both sad and moved. Now he's been given a second chance at life. He just wants to be a better person and make up for all the wrongs he did in the past. Just then, the door opened. I walked inside. I smiled and said, "Looks like you've truly repented. But there's still an important task I need you to handle. I'm willing to serve you with all my might, my lord." Wu Jin knelt down to me without any hesitation. "I want you to go back to Chengcheng with Jiming and the others later. Then you'll stay there to carry out your bandit suppression work. I'm not sure if the checkpoints at Chengcheng are strict right now, but as an inspector, Wu Zhen can definitely get people in just by showing his face. Bandits are running wild everywhere right now. Sending Wu Zhen back to suppress bandits is way better than locking him up here. Miao Jiming is in charge of bringing the trapped civilians in the city back here." The atmosphere on the road ahead was grim and heavy. Everyone saw the corpses littered all over the ground. All of them felt extremely heavy-hearted. When the dynasty thrives, common folk suffer. When the dynasty falls, common folk still suffer. Miao Jiming couldn't help sighing. I just hope Ji Mingji is still alive. The guard thought to himself, something's wrong, Weishir. Someone's been following us from behind. Weishir snuck a quick glance backwards. Sure enough, a group of people was following him far behind. There were at least 100 of them. Soon, a villager spotted some familiar faces. Many of those people were from Wangjia village. It's the rebel army led by Wang Er. They've caught up to us. As soon as he finished speaking, almost 100 people charged from behind. They surrounded Weishir and his group completely. Weishir and Liu Ping immediately drew their stone swords. The rest followed suit and pulled out their wooden swords. Ha ha ha, are these people here to make a fool of themselves? They actually have iron swords, but they're using wooden ones instead. The surrounding people looked at each other in confusion. Their eyes were full of mockery. The leader shouted at Weishir and his group. We work for Wang Er. You've probably heard of him. We only rob belongings. We don't kill. Hand over all your stuff, and we'll let you go for sure. Miao Jiming stepped forward calmly, holding a bag of silver fragments in his hand. He said calmly, Dear hero, there aren't many people as principled as you these days. How about this? I have some silver fragments here. I'll give them to all of you heroes. Will you let us leave? Why start a big fight and ruin the friendly vibe between us? Just now, Miao Jiming roughly counted the number of people present. There were only around 200 of them. 1 against 7, we've got the advantage. We have powerful people backing us anyway, but no one knows if we'll run into other bandits later on. So if we can solve this with money, we'd better do that. Save our strength. Use polite means before resorting to force. If they don't know what's good for them, don't blame us for being rude. Zhong Guangdao stared at the bag of silver fragments, feeling a little hesitant. Boss, they seem to be from Liujia village, someone whispered in Zhong Guangdao's ear. Zhong Guangdao frowned and asked, How do you know that? I recognize that big guy over there. The man pointed at Liu Ping and explained, I saw him when I went to Liujia village before. Now this is tricky. Zhong Guangdao thought to himself. A few days ago, when they passed their own village, they found out that their elders and children had been taken in by a village called Liujia village. Brother Wang Er sent people to check that village, and among those people was the guy talking to Zhong Guangdao right now. It said that all those people are living really well there. Wang Er originally wanted to go thank them in person, but the people who came back said the village was kind of weird. Chapter 87, I regret it so much anyway. The whole village was full of weird vibes, like it was a gathering place for a cult. But Wang Er thought about it for a long time, and finally decided not to disturb Liujia village. He also told his subordinates to look out for Liujia village. In these chaotic times of war, joining a cult is better than being rebels like us. Thinking of this, Zhong Guangdao glanced at the wooden swords they were holding and shook his head secretly. Looks like they've really been brainwashed by the cult. That makes sense. They brought so much stuff with them on this trip. They're probably heading to Chengcheng to sell all this, right? I thought they were merchants. That makes robbing the rich to feed the poor tricky. Brother Guangdao, are we still gonna rob them? That village is straight up creepy. The guy who's been to Liu family village said sincerely, We'd better not mess with folks from Liu family village, but we still need to double check first. Hey, are you guys from Liu family village? Guangdao asked loudly. Miao Jiming nodded and answered, Yep, all of us are from Liu family village. Our rule is only rob the rich to help the poor, right? We don't rob ordinary villagers. So what now, we still robbing them? Rob my ass, hell no. That's Liu family village we're talking about. My old mom's still staying there. My family members are there too. When those guys heard they were from Liu family village, they all looked super awkward. They immediately put away their weapons. Their attitudes toward Miao Jiming's group softened a lot. Good people are hard to come by these days. Ha, that's such a silly mix-up. We almost fought our own folks. Guangdao saw how his underlings reacted. He sighed with relief too. He also has relatives living in Liu family village, so obviously he didn't want to fight people from there either. We were in the wrong here, since you folks are from Liu family village. As Guangdao was speaking, he told his men to clear a path. We apologize for the offense. You guys are free to go now. Thank you. Miao Jiming thanked him with a fist salute as they were leaving. He handed the bag of silver coins to Guangdao. What's this? Guangdao looked at Miao Jiming confusedly. Just take these silver coins, please. Split them among the brothers, Miao Jiming said with a smile. If you guys have free time later, come visit us at Liu family village. These guys were forced into this by hard times. They're not like those other bandits we met before. They still have a conscience. Miao Jiming thought to himself, maybe I can recruit them to join Liu family village. All of these guys are great at farming. Our village would gain. So many more farmers. Once they set foot in Liu family village, do you think they'd ever want to leave? Plus, another thing. We'll be traveling to and from Chengcheng a lot in the future. Having these guys on our side will save us a lot of trouble. Sensing Miao Jiming's kindness, Guangdao was really touched. Ever since they became outlaws, no one has ever been this nice to them. After Miao Jiming's group had walked far away, Guangdao felt the weight of the silver bag in his hand. He thought for a second. He ordered his subordinate, Tua, take a team and follow them from a distance. If any idiot tries to rob them, just drop Brother Wanger's name. Once they're almost at Chengcheng, you guys can come back. Courtesy calls for reciprocity, right? We're outlaws. Folks from Liu family village are law-abiding civilians. We can't ruin their reputation. Sending them secretly is the best way. I'll mention this to Brother Wanger when we get back. Tell all the brothers to keep their eyes open. Guangdao thought about their next move. Even though Miao Jiming knew, someone was following them from behind. This time was totally different. Several groups of bandits got scared off by the people following them. Whitewater Wang is a famously ferocious fighter. No one dares to mess with him. They reached the gate of Chengcheng without any real trouble. The people following them then left. The town wasn't as relaxed about entry as before. You used to just pay silver to get in. The gate guards were replaced with armored soldiers. Everyone entering had to go through strict interrogation. The guards soon spotted Miao Jiming's group walking toward Chengcheng. Tell the brothers at the back to get ready to close the gate any time. There's a group of people with weapons coming. They don't look like good people. The guards stared at the iron swords they were carrying. He frowned and shouted, "Hold it! Wait, doesn't that look like our patrol officer Wu Zhen? And those guys look like Old Song and his men. They're actually alive? I thought they were dead." Another guard suddenly spoke up. They escaped from that cursed village too. All the city guards looked confused. The name Liu Family Village had become a regular topic of their daily chats. There are two rumors going around about it. One says there's a demon village near Chengcheng, full of evil sorcerers, who can summon giant mushrooms with a wave of their hand. There's also a huge white humanoid monster there. Its whole body is made of black iron. Swords and spears can't pierce it. Fire and water don't affect it. It's unbelievably strong. It weighs tens of thousands of pounds, and it's extremely cruel and vicious. Shows its sharp fangs, loves breaking people's legs, and listening to people scream in pain. This version comes from people who survived the disaster. This whole thing already sounded super fishy to begin with. The city guards thought they just couldn't beat the bandits, and were too embarrassed to admit it. So they made up this story as an excuse. But the accounts from those who were supposed to be dead and made it out alive are even more absurd. It's literally a fairy tale. No one can believe it. According to what they said, that white monster is a divine general from heaven. He's gentle and mild-tempered, loves giving people red flowers and patting them on the head. He takes orders from an immortal who came down to Earth. No one knows that immortal's name. The villagers don't even dare say it out loud. They only know the villagers call him Lord White Immortal. But Lord White Immortal doesn't like that title, so when he's right in front of them, they usually call him Young Master Bai. Lord White Immortal is super amazing. He has incredible magical powers. Even when his powers are suppressed by the mortal realm, he can create a paradise all on his own. There's an endless supply of water there, wheat that ripens in just 7 days. And the immortal boys can even make it ripen instantly. There's way more food than anyone can eat. Giant mushrooms that grow instantly into houses. You only need to do a little digging every day to eat your fill. If you do a good job, you might even get to eat eggs, fish, and meat. And you get that every single day. Milk that can cure all kinds of diseases. Magic fish that heal your wounds when you eat them. Made from divine wood, as hard as an iron sword. Immortal artifacts that automatically protect their owners. Wear them and they'll block swords and blades for you. The people living there are happy and peaceful. They have more than enough of everything. It's literally a utopia. Long story short, those people who came back are acting super weird. They've only been back a day or two. Even the ones who are usually the most cheerful are spaced out all day long now, sighing nonstop, like they've lost their souls. They often hang out in pairs, talking about the time they lived there. If anyone asks them, they can't wait to tell you every single little detail of their daily life there. When you ask them how they feel about coming back, every single one regrets it. But no matter which version you hear, Wu Zhen was supposed to be dead for sure. Ugh, what a shame he didn't die. He's got 9 lives. One soldier curled his lip and said regretfully, life was already hard enough. Now that this bastard is back, we're never gonna have a peaceful life again. Chapter 88. Chengcheng saw the gate guards didn't say anything more and let Miao Jiming and his group enter. After they entered the county town, Wu Zhen first gave the city guards his orders. No matter what happens, don't stop Miao Jiming and his group from leaving. Then he carefully asked Miao Jiming, "Let's part ways here," even though they were technically on his turf now. What happened up in the sky earlier was still fresh in his memory, so Wu Zhen didn't dare act the slightest bit arrogant. Miao Jiming continued, "But Lord Wu, don't you forget what Lord White Immortal told you to do." I wouldn't dare. Wu Zhen had a miserable look on his face. He cupped his hands in greeting towards Miao Jiming and the others, before he finally left. Lord White Immortal really is something else. His methods are so brilliant. He even managed to change someone as awful as Wu Zhen to be this humble. A militia member in the group who knew Wu Zhen's personality sighed. He went on, "It's a shame, though. Those people who came back from Lord White Immortal's place, no matter how much we ask them, they won't say a word about what happened back then. I don't know, but I know one thing for sure, that while they were at Lord White Immortal's place, they definitely ate way too much of that magic fish. Otherwise, they wouldn't feel like throwing up just looking at fish. They never had that problem before. That sounds so great. I want to eat so much fish I throw up too." Overhearing the conversation between the militia members, Miao Jiming glanced at the militia member who was saying how jealous he was. "You don't actually want that, do you? Do you all still remember the plan I gave you earlier?" Miao Jiming looked away and asked everyone present. Seeing everyone nod, Miao Jiming said seriously, "All right, now we split up and take action. Once you finish your tasks, meet back at this spot." "Yes!" Everyone scattered in all directions, leaving a few dozen people to guard the weapons on site. With Wu Zhen's orders in place, the gate guards didn't dare to give us a hard time. They took the initiative to explain the situation to the patrolling soldiers. Ji Xinyan was definitely the fastest among them. He ran all the way, cutting through any available path, and took a few small side roads to bypass checkpoints. The scenes he saw along the way made his worry grow even heavier. Liu Ping followed right behind Ji Xinan. He looked around the city with a grave expression. Houses and shops everywhere showed clear signs of damage. All kinds of discarded items were scattered in the street corners. There were also dried bloodstains on the ground. Even the usually busiest market shops were mostly closed up. The air was still thick with panic and unease. There were barely any pedestrians on the street, and everyone was hurrying along, looking totally flustered, as if someone was chasing them from behind. The common people in the city have been hit really hard now. They're so poor they can barely afford to eat. The taverns, though they have some damage too, are still open for business, packed with fancy-dressed nobles and rich people. They're eating meat, drinking wine, and listening to folk tunes right now, non-stop cursing the Whitewater King too. They were yelling so loud. Anyone passing by could hear them clearly. The drought only hurts the common people. It's the common folks who go hungry. It never affects these rich and powerful people. Quite the opposite, actually. The worse the drought gets, the more they hoard grain, and the higher grain prices go. It's not like they can't afford the grain anyway. Even if they lose some silver, their businesses and properties are still there. They'll make all the money back in just a few days. Soldiers pass by every now and then, checking every pedestrian on the road. Faint, miserable sobs came from inside houses with broken doors. This was totally the opposite of the atmosphere in Liu Village. Is this still the Cheng Cheng he remembered? Every time he comes here, Cheng Cheng gets a little more run down. If we didn't have Immortal Bai's protection, our Liu Village would be way worse off than this. Liu Ping mumbled to himself. His hands and feet felt ice cold, but he was also extremely grateful. Thank God Immortal Bai is looking out for us. As for Ji Xinan, he only felt overwhelming anxiety. Please don't let anything happen to Dad. He hasn't even met the Immortal yet. After wandering around all over the place, after several detours, Xinan finally reached the alley where the ancient herbal hall was located. A small number of people waiting to see the doctor were lined up there. Almost all of them looked skin and bones, huddled against the wall, clutching their stomachs. Inside the ancient herbal hall, the voices of several apprentices came from inside. Look, it's not that I don't want to treat you, but this prescription only cures sickness. It can't fill your empty stomach. Eating it won't do you any good no matter what. Mr. G, please just write me a prescription. I really am sick. My stomach is burning like crazy. I only have enough money to buy medicine. Please, just write me a prescription, okay? So, after rummaging through the cabinets, Ji Mingji said in a helpless tone, take these, boil them for half an hour when you get home before drinking. Next! Thank you so much, Mr. G. Thank you so much, Mr. G. Ji Xinan heard that exhausted voice and quickly walked into the hall. He called out loudly, Dad! Xinan is back. There's my boy, perfect timing. Come over and help me see patients. Let's test if your medical skills have gotten rusty. Ji Mingji looked up happily. The frown that had been on his face melted away. He smiled and said to the young man, could you please wait for a little while? I'm fine, you guys go ahead with your work. Don't worry about me. Liu Ping smiled bashfully, walked over and sat down on a chair. All right. Ji Xinan walked over to the medicine cabinet, helped see patients and prepare medicine. Soon he had seen all the patients waiting at the door. While no new patients had come yet, Ji Mingzi shut the front door tightly. Dad, what happened to your hand? Ji Xinan couldn't help asking. Earlier when he was preparing medicine, he had noticed there was a obvious scar on Ji Mingji's hand. A group of people came in to rob us earlier. I would have been fine if they only took some silver, but who knew they'd rummage through the medicine cabinets and scatter all the herbs everywhere. I got anxious and went to stop them, and got cut like this. Ji Mingji didn't care about it at all, he said unhurriedly. But it's okay. None of the herbs were badly damaged, that's the main thing. Ji Xinyan quickly took out the fishing rod and grilled fish, and handed them to Ji Mingji. His eyes red, he said, Dad, please eat these. This grilled fish tastes the best. Wait, is this fish like the divine fruit we had before? That can regrow bones and save the dying? Ji Mingji couldn't help asking. Ji Xinan knew his dad's temperament well. Before his dad could speak, this divine fish was granted to me by the previous immortal lord. I still have a lot more of it. It really does have the effect of healing fatal injuries. Just eat it, Dad. Don't even think about saving it for someone else. This is a gift from the previous immortal lord after all. You can't just give it to random people, can you? Fine. Ji Mingzi said after hearing that. He hesitated for a long time before he ate it. He watched as his scars faded rapidly. He sighed. It really is a divine item. The effect is really amazing. After a moment, Ji Mingji paused. His voice trembling a little, he asked, What about the panacea that cures all diseases? Did you see it? Chapter 89, It's Not Your Stuff, We Robbed Anyway. Ji Xinan nodded. He told Ji Mingzi all the things he saw and heard. When he was in Lujia village in detail, that miracle milk that cures all diseases is really weird. You have to drink the whole bucket of it for it to work. Luckily, that milk doesn't make you feel bloated at all. It feels like it just vanishes out of nowhere after you drink it. Weisher didn't lie to us, Ji Xinan said excitedly. He suddenly realized his dad might have forgotten who Weisher was. He quickly added, He's the guy who helped us escape before, the big guy with a full beard. Too bad that milk was way too heavy. I couldn't bring it here at all. Ji Mingji listened quietly, nodding once in a while to respond. Oh right, Dad. Do you know what's going on with the Imperial Court lately? We've already run into 4 or 5 groups of bandits outside. When will the court send people here? Ji Xinhan asked confusedly. Ji Mingji said coldly, I'm afraid we'll have to wait till next year. Next year? Rage instantly flared up in Ji Xinan's chest. He laughed in anger. If we really wait till next year, those bandits will get powerful enough. It'll be way harder to put them down then. Ji Xinyan glanced over at the gate to make sure it was closed. He lowered his voice and said furiously, Did the officials get kicked in the head by a donkey? And the emperor too. He's just letting these bandits loot around here. No, the emperor doesn't know about this at all, Ji Mingji said helplessly. Hu Tingyan, the governor of Shanxi, has covered up all these issues completely. He says all these bandits are just hungry refugees. They'll disband on their own once they get grain after next year's summer harvest. Plus, the patrol officer Wu Zhen has gone missing. Rumor says he was killed by some kind of white monster. I think that must be Lord Divine General's doing. Anyways, at least before next year. The number of bandits won't decrease. It will only keep growing. Ji Xinyan said, What an excuse. He's just scared the higher-ups will punish him for his mistakes. He can hide this for a little while, but he can't hide it forever. When this comes out, his whole family will get executed. It's not their property getting robbed. That's why they don't care. All these official lords are just the same. Liu Ping, who'd been listening quietly nearby, scoffed and said, I get it now. To those nobles and high officials, we're not even considered human at all. There are tons of starving people lying all over the city, but people in those big mansions are still eating meat and drinking wine. No wonder so many people are rebelling. These officials aren't even worth a toe of the immortal lord, no. They aren't even worth a single hair on his head. He will never forget how those Yamen runners robbed them when they came to collect taxes. Ji Mingji shook his head and sighed. He went on, Now that this news has spread, the bandits are getting even more arrogant and aggressive. Even people who used to be scared of the imperial court and dared not cause trouble are joining the rebellion now. Things will probably only get worse from here on. This dynasty's fate is sealed. Dad, come with us. I came here specifically to pick you up, Ji Xinan said softly. He knew his dad's character well. He always does good deeds on ordinary days and never asks for anything in return. Now that he's heard about the immortal lord, he's even more convinced that what he's doing is right. When he was getting medicine earlier, Xu Xingyan noticed. His dad almost only charges people for the cost of the herbs. Sometimes he even runs the business at a loss. People's hearts are unpredictable. Not everyone will be grateful for his kindness. If his dad keeps doing things like this, then next time he comes here, he might not even get to see his dad anymore. This isn't under the Immortal Lord's rule. There are no gods watching over everyone here. Since my dad wants to do good deeds, I'll give him a reason he can't refuse. You know this better than I do. All these people got sick from starvation. We can't help them at all. Jisinan paused before speaking. Now the Immortal Lord has brought a lot of refugees. Quite a few of them are sick and need treatment. The Immortal Lord is swamped with work. He can't take care of everyone one by one. That's where you can save way more people. When dealing with stubborn people, you have to follow their line of thinking. After hearing what Jisinan said, Ji Mingji obviously hesitated. Jisinan quickly pressed on while the iron was hot. Carl misses you a lot, Grandpa. He keeps asking every day when you will come over. He's yelling that he wants you to carry him. Ji Mingji looked at the rows of neatly arranged wooden medicine cabinets and ran his fingers over the traces left by years of use. He stared at the handwritten herb labels on the drawers, which had already faded a little. I've stayed here almost my whole life. Ji Mingzi mumbled to himself. I really hate to leave this place. Shinan, go take down the Baikao Hall sign. Ji Mingzi instructed. That sign was passed down from our ancestors. We can't lose it no matter what. As long as the sign is still there. Baikao Hall still exists. Dad, you agreed. Ji Xinyan was overjoyed. Afraid his dad would change his mind, he quickly called Liu Ping over. To help take down the sign, Baikao Hall should move to a new location. Shopkeeper, why is the price of this dye almost 20% lower than before? Miao Jiming asked with a frown. There's really nothing I can do about it. You know how it is, young sir. Those bandits entered the city a few days ago and looted everything recklessly. The shopkeeper complained with a forced smile. All those rich folks spent all their silver stocking up on grain. Besides, most dye merchants don't dare come to Chengcheng now. It's really hard to sell goods these days. Don't think I'm offering you too little. Our shop already offers the highest purchase price in Chengcheng. If you don't believe me, young sir, you can go ask other nearby shops. Just like he said. This was indeed the highest price among surrounding shops. He sold all the dye and exchanged all of it for silver. Miao Jiming walked out of the shop and distributed the silver to his men. Take this silver, all of you. Make sure you remember this. Now that you've struck it rich, you're supposed to go back and show off. Miao Jiming said to the several soldiers following him and reminded them repeatedly. Act more realistically. Don't be stingy with the money. Pay the corvée fees for 7 or 8 years all at once. If anyone asks you questions, stay silent first. Act like you're holding something back. You know that vibe. Wait till there's a crowd before you tell them. Try to trick more people into coming back with you. The more people, the better. We can afford to feed all of them. All right, Zhuzi. Take this money to buy some cloth, coarse salt, and all the stuff I told you about before. Oh, right. If you can find seasonings, buy more of those too. These are for the Immortal Lord to eat. Make sure you buy the best and most expensive ones in the shop. Buy a lot of them. Also, see if you can bring a few tailors back with you. Don't worry, leave it to me. No problem at all, Liu Qi. This is yours. Miao Jiming didn't say much more. Liu Qi is the one he trusts the most out of all of them. Miao Jiming assigned all tasks one by one, until only 2 or 3 people were left by his side. He finally let out a sigh of relief. Perfect, now we just wait for them to come back. Miao Jiming went back to the starting point. If anyone who went out runs into problems, they can come back here to ask for his opinion. Stop right there, what do you want? The soldier next to Miao Jiming raised his iron sword and shouted fiercely. Miao Jiming turned his head and saw a group of people walking towards them. One of them looked vaguely familiar to him. It seemed like when he was selling dye earlier, that man was standing right next to him. Excuse me, young sir, was that dye you sold in that shop just now? The burly man leading the group tried to put on a kind smile, but his fierce features made the smile look super creepy. Please don't get us wrong, we mean no harm. We are traveling merchants. We arrived in Chengcheng yesterday. We just want to ask if you have more dye left. We are willing to pay a higher price for it. Chapter 90. Prey, Hunter, Traveling Merchant. You guys don't look like traveling merchants to me. Miao Jiming looked the burly man up and down, as well as the fierce-looking people behind him, and said with a frown, You're joking, young sir. The burly man said helplessly. Anyone who dares to travel outside the city in these chaotic times are all fearless daredevils. If you're skinny and weak, forget about transporting goods. You might not even save your own life. Am I right, young sir? That makes some sense. Miao Jiming murmured thoughtfully. Besides, you were worried we're bandits, right? Guys, bring over the goods we restocked today. The burly man struck while the iron was hot, and told his men behind to put down the carrying poles, remove the cloth covering the top, to reveal the goods inside. See? I'd never dare to lie to you, young sir. I won't hide it from you either. You might not know, the quality of your dye is really extraordinary. If we ship it to other counties, at the price you just sold it for, we can sell it for several times more. We really want to do business with you sincerely. But you only have this little bit of goods. I'm afraid it won't even cover our travel expenses, right? Miao Jiming's wary expression relaxed a little, but he still wasn't fully convinced. He continued to ask, "Ha ha ha, this little bit of goods. Of course it's not enough. We bought them in separate batches. This is just a tiny part. If you don't believe me, young sir, you can come with us to check. Relax, we're inside the city, and the goods are right by the city wall. If we try to harm you on the way, we can't escape either." Miao Jiming stared closely at the burly man and saw he looked completely calm. Then he finally relaxed. He cupped his hands apologetically to the man and said, "I misunderstood you all. There are just too many thieves these days. We have to be on guard. Please forgive me." He said to the militiamen, "Put down all your weapons. Don't point iron swords at people. It's super dangerous." The militiamen surrounding Miao Jiming exchanged weird looks with each other and sensed something was off. Brother Jiming never calls himself young sir. These people are up to no good. The militiamen nodded, put away their iron swords, pulled out the wooden swords at their waists, and held them tightly, staring at those so-called traveling merchants. Miao Jiming said exasperatedly, "Look at this, ugh. Please don't take offense. They're just like this. They have to hold a sword in their hand, no matter what. It's okay, it's okay. I get it. If you don't take precautions, you'd have been cleaned out by others long ago. Besides, they're just wooden swords. Nothing bad will happen. People who travel the Jianghu don't care about such trivialities. I don't mind at all," the big man said generously. "I'm young Heyu. May I ask your name, young sir?" "Brother Heyu, you're really such a generous person." Miao Jiming cupped his hands with a sincere look on his face as he replied, "I'm Chao Mingkai." Yang Heyu also cupped his hands and said, "Oh, so it's young Master Chao. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you." Miao Jiming cleared his throat lightly and asked carefully, "Brother Heyu, you just said you can raise the price of the dye even more. How much can you offer? Don't worry, we have more in our village, and there's quite a lot of it. The amount we sold to the shop is just a small part, but whether we sell it or not depends on your sincerity. You know that, young Master Chao. We're just making a little hard-earned money. Travel expenses alone cost us a lot of money, so the most we can raise the price is 50%. I hope you can understand, young sir," Yang Heyu said with a wide smile on his face. 50%? Miao Jiming exclaimed. He realized he had overreacted and pretended to hesitate. 50%? That's way too little. I need to think about it more. Young Master Chao, how about 60%? I'll add another 10%. 70? 80? Young Master Chao, I really can't raise it anymore. Otherwise, we won't make much profit either. A flicker of malice flashed in Yang Heyu's eyes. He said firmly, "Fine, you said that." The corner of Miao Jiming's mouth curled up, looking very pleased with himself. 80%? Yang Heyu said with an obsequious smile. 80%, as long as you sell it to us. Not a single percent will be missing. I've been traveling the Jianghu for so many years. I've always relied on my good reputation. I would never lie to you, young sir, Miao Jiming said with a smile. It's a deal then. But where do we find you later? Our guys are still in the city. They've got stuff to take care of. It might take a while. Don't worry, it won't be long. That's fine with us. We can wait for a day or two. What do you think, Master Chao? Yang Heyu thought for a moment and asked tentatively, I'll send one of my men to go with you. When you're ready to leave, you can send him back to let us know. Miao Jiming hesitated for a second and said, Weizi, come here. After Yang Heyu called out, a scrawny young man stepped out from behind him. What do you think of him, Master Chao? Yang Heyu explained patiently. Among all these rough guys of mine, he's the mildest and weakest one. I figure he won't be an eyesore to you. All right, he'll do, Miao Jiming said unhurriedly. Weizi walked forward and said with a simple, honest smile, I'm Weizi, sir. Thank you for your trouble, Master Chao. Miao Jiming tilted his chin up and said, now that everything's settled, we'll be heading out first. Take care, Master Chao. Yang Heyu and the others cupped their hands and said, watching the figures of Miao Jiming and his group leave. The smile on Yang Heyu's face instantly vanished and turned gloomy. Humph dares to call himself a young master? Look at what he's wearing. We butter him up a little and he actually buys it. And he's so greedy too. But that works out for us. Stuck-up pricks like him are super easy to fool. He wasn't lying, actually. If the other side is stronger than us, we're just traveling merchants fair and square. But if that's not the case, don't blame us for robbing them blind. Anyone who can get into the city and show their face publicly can't be one of those rebel bandits or people from the mountain strongholds. Those guys don't have the guts for that. Yang Heyu heard it loud and clear that Chao Minkai said they're from a village. A village? How big can a village even be? How many fighters can they possibly have? Sure, it might be a lie. Even the name Chao Minkai could be fake. The higher the risk, the bigger the reward. That die can't be fake, though. This is a super profitable deal. Tell the brothers to get ready. Don't let anyone slip up and give us away. This is a huge deal for us, Yang Heyu said coldly. If anyone messes this up, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Boss, something feels off to me. How could a village have that kind of die? The scar-faced man next to him whispered. Why do you think I sent Wei Si with them? Yang Heyu glanced at the scar-faced man. Wei Si is no good at fighting, but he's really good at gathering intel. Sending him over is a good call, to check if their story checks out. We'll decide what to do after that. No matter how it goes, I'm definitely taking this batch of dye, Yang Heyu said with a vicious grin. He had no idea that before Miao Jiming left, he had flashed a very thought-provoking smile. The prey has taken the bait. At Chapter 91, Trying to Leave. Too late, by the city wall. Wei Si left Miao Jiming's group and returned to the meeting spot for the caravan. Yang Heyu asked Wei Si with a serious look on his face. Well, did you get anything out of them? Wei Si shook his head and sneered. These guys don't exactly know how to keep their mouths shut. But everything they said was just lies they tried to pass off as the truth. He told them everything he'd heard, in full detail. The faces of the onlookers got weirder the more they listened. As soon as Wei Si finished speaking, someone said in a solemn voice, Is this village some kind of cult hideout? Must be. You heard what they said. They even claimed they have endless water. That's classic brainwashing, isn't it? Who would have thought that handsome young master is actually a cult member? You'd never guess it from looking at him. This is so ridiculous. These cults can't even come up with any new tricks. Hey, what if it's actually true? As soon as he said that, the whole area went dead silent. Everyone turned to look at the person who spoke, with looks of utter disbelief on their faces. Are you out of your mind? Wait, you actually believe that crap? Milk cures every disease. Wheat ripens every 7 days. Wooden swords as strong as iron swords. You actually buy this nonsense. Why don't you go join them right now? We won't stop you. They're looking for idiots just like you. Ha ha ha! That's so funny, I'm dying! The guy who just spoke immediately looked awkward. His face went pale with embarrassment, and stopped talking. Everyone roared with laughter. The area by the city wall was full of cheerful vibes. When they finished laughing, someone finally asked, If that's really a cult then, should we still go there? Everyone turned their eyes to Yang Heyu. Who knows where this random fake immortal came from? It's not like he's the eternal venerable mother, as long as they're not from the White Lotus sect. What's there to be scared of? Yang Heyu scoffed. A real immortal descending to the mortal world. That's even more ridiculous than the White Lotus sect's eternal venerable mother. If these people were really from the White Lotus sect, he would never dare get mixed up in this mess. Those maniacs rebel all day long. Once you start fighting them, none of them are afraid of death. They think they'll go to some vacuum homeland after they die. But even so, those White Lotus maniacs would never dare claim the eternal venerable mother descended to Earth. At most, they'd have a holy son come out, or a holy mother. Of course we're going. Let's set off right now. Don't keep young Master Chao waiting too long, Yang Heyu said, on the official road. Miao Jiming and his men were leading their donkey carts, heading back with the goods they bought. Soldiers stood on the outer perimeter, protecting the people they brought from the city in the middle, dozens of meters away. Yang Heyu was riding a horse, with a bow and arrows on his back, leading his caravan to follow behind. This was to avoid scaring that young master. It was Yang Heyu's own suggestion. Boss, look at those people on the outer perimeter. All of them are holding wooden swords and wearing leather boots. It's exactly what Wei Si told us. The scar-faced man who'd been following Yang Heyu snickered. They actually believe that stuff can block swords and blades. They have iron swords but use wooden ones instead. What a bunch of idiots. Don't look down on these guys. They only look ridiculous. Yang Heyu had a blank expression. His eyes flickered as he said, When you actually fight them, you'll know how hard they are to deal with. If a real fight breaks out, there are only two possible outcomes. Either all of us die or we run away, or all of those guys die. If you ask me, that so-called immortal lord is just a pleasure-seeking loser. Boss, look at those people they brought back. There are even opera performers among them, the scar-faced man said disdainfully. How could someone like that be an immortal? That's true. Yang Heyu nodded in agreement. Just then a man walked out from Miao Jiming's group. He walked up to Yang Heyu, cupped his hands and said, "My master says there are lots of bandits causing trouble around here. He's a bit worried, and was wondering if he could ask all of you to come over to protect him. When we get to the destination, he will pay you accordingly." Yang Heyu held back a smile and nodded. Since it's young Master Chao's request, I, Yang, will definitely not refuse. He had figured it out. This Chao Minkai is just a coward who fears death. He knew those guys with wooden swords were unreliable, so he wanted their harmless caravan to protect him. How did a guy like this get to such a position? He must have a really powerful relative backing him up. He probably came here just because he was bored staying put, and made up an excuse to wander around the city. This is such a godsend! Yang Heyu grinned from ear to ear, and told his men to follow Miao Jiming's group. He himself rode his horse, and traveled alongside Miao Jiming, who was also on horseback. Looking at Miao Jiming clinging tightly to his horse, looking completely terrified, he felt nothing but contempt in his heart. A loser like this, if he hadn't been born into a good family. He would have died long ago. I need to gain his full trust, so I can make my move later. Yang Heyu rolled his eyes and had an idea, and started telling Miao Jiming all the funny stories he encountered on the road, which made Miao Jiming laugh non-stop. He chatted and laughed all the way, while glancing ahead from time to time. Wait, what's going on in the sky? Yang Heyu narrowed his eyes and looked up at the sky. Since it was too far away, he couldn't see very clearly. He vaguely saw a faint, wispy thing, spiraling upwards into the sky. Is it a hallucination? Yang Heyu didn't care much at first, but what Wei Si had said suddenly popped into his head. Immortal Lord Bai can reach the heavens. An indescribable strange feeling washed over him. The hair on his arm stood on end. A chill ran down his spine. Young Master Chao, I just remembered. I haven't given clear instructions to my men yet. Go ahead, off you go. It's fine. Miao Jiming waved his hand casually. He rode his horse to keep some distance from others. Yang Heyu took a deep breath. He bent down and asked the scarred man in a low voice, "Get Wei Si over here for me." Wei Si hurried over from the team. Wei Si asked, panting heavily, "Boss, what do you need me for?" Look up. Is there something up in the sky? Wei Si rubbed his eyes. He said confusedly, there really seems to be something. Though it's a bit blurry. But there's something winding, stretching all the way up to the sky. Am I hallucinating? Wait a second, boss. Wei Si realized what was going on. His eyes went wide. He looked at Yang Heyu in shock. You see it too, don't you? Shit, this is the real deal. No way, we have to leave right now. Before we get spotted? Yang Heyu's heart was pounding wildly. Every thud seemed to echo in his chest. He came up with an excuse. He turned around to explain to young Master Chao, only to find young Master Chao smiling. Staring at him meaningfully, Brother Heyu, we're already here. Do you really think I'll let you leave? The roles of hunter and prey switched in that instant. Chapter 92, Immortal Trace. Miao Jiming stared at young Heyu with a faint smile. There was no sign of his earlier timid look at all. We've been tricked, Yang Heyu realized immediately. This young Master Chao is clearly a crafty fox. That scared act he put on earlier was totally fake. Damn it, I fell. Right into his trap. You see it too. Wei Si looked at Miao Jiming in shock. Wait, if you saw it too, why are you acting so calm? Miao Jiming's reaction was way too calm. Like that thing was supposed to be there all along. Wait a minute. Does that thing look like a staircase leading to heaven? What those villagers said was all true. His mouth was slightly open. The words got stuck in Wei Si's throat. He gripped the iron sword in his hand for a sense of safety. He still remembered what those villagers told him about the immortal powers Lord White Immortal had shown. That stuff you all believed in is a real immortal. Wei Si's legs went weak. He could barely move. He turned around silently. He looked at Yang Heyu with a helpless face. Boss, what do we do? Yang Heyu had no time to care how his men felt. Yang Heyu's mind went completely blank at that moment. His head was buzzing. Who would have guessed that this ridiculous thing was actually real? Oh, young Master Chao. What do you mean by that? I still plan to buy dye from you. Why would I ever leave? Yang Heyu quickly forced a smile and said, even if you kicked me out, I wouldn't leave. There's no need for you to let me go. It's just that thing in the sky. I'm really just a bit curious about it. That's why I wanted to ask you about it, sir. Oh, I misunderstood you again, Brother Heyu. I'm so sorry. Miao Ji grinned and said, relax, that thing was made by the Immortal. It's completely harmless. And you don't have to be scared either. You're merchants, not robbers. The Immortal won't make things hard for you. As for who the Immortal is, I'm sure you already know, right? As he spoke, Miao Jiming glanced at Wei Si. Yes, we do. Of course we know. Catching the hidden meaning in Miao Jihei's words, Yang Heyu nodded with a forced smile. Oh right, I need to ask a favor of you, Brother Heyu. Some of your brothers probably haven't seen it yet. You'd better go warn them. Miaoji had changed the subject and added pointedly, otherwise, if there's a misunderstanding later, it won't end well. I'll go right away, sir. Yang Heyu had none of his earlier carefree vibe right now. He couldn't wait to get as far away from the unpredictable Miao Jiming as possible once they were far enough away. Weisi gritted his teeth and whispered, Boss, that guy definitely knows what we're planning. If we go over there, we're walking straight into a trap. Should we tell the brothers to fight them? We can at least get you out of here. Did you forget the new wooden swords they told us about? And their armor? Yang Heyu said with a blank expression. These are believers protected by a real immortal. We can't fight them at all. Charging up there is just suicide. We'll take it one step at a time. Yang Heyu sighed. He knew this was just like boiling a frog slowly. They were doomed either way. But that's a real immortal we're talking about. All those people around are wielding stuff with actual immortal energy. What are us ordinary folks gonna fight with? Our heads? Yang Heyu ordered his men that no matter what happens, they must not start any conflict with these people. The group kept moving forward. As they got closer, one of Yang Heyu's subordinates spotted the staircase stretching all the way to the sky. Holy shit, look. What is that up in the sky? At that sharp cry, all of Yang Heyu's men looked up in unison. Their eyes were wide open, like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. A staircase leading straight to the clouds was firmly rooted in the ground, at an almost unbelievable angle, climbing gradually through small platform after small platform. Stretching up to the sky, right below the staircase, was an abrupt patch of green forest, like a gem embedded in the yellow wasteland. They could see it clearly. There were no supports under the wooden staircase at all. It just creepily stretched all the way up to the sky, like a passage leading to another world. It didn't just connect heaven and earth. It also connected reality and mystery, the mortal world and the heavenly court. That wooden staircase hanging between reality and fantasy just stood there, defying all their logic and common sense. Ah, I thought I was the only one who saw that. This is real. You guys see it too. This isn't a hallucination. Is this the heavenly staircase Weisi talked about? No way, that village actually has an immortal. What do we do now? We're done for, we're so done for. We're totally screwed this time. We messed with an immortal. What on earth are we gonna do? We were gonna rob this village earlier. Their steps slowed down involuntarily. They were filled with terror. In stark contrast to their reaction were the people brought over from the city. They'd been following closely the whole way, scared out of their wits, convinced bandits would come kill them all any second, until they saw that staircase that should only exist in dreams or fictional stories. The scene unfolding in front of them was way beyond any normal explanation. Their hearts were pounding violently, feeling a shock they'd never experienced before. Brother Lee, is this the great opportunity you talked about? Hama rubbed the back of his hand, feeling the texture, trying to calm the shock in his heart. He stammered, worried he'd scare these people off, so he didn't tell them at first. Anything about Immortal Bai? Li Kaiji nodded proudly and said, that's right. An immortal came down to Earth. Is that cool enough for you? Hell yeah. Way more than cool enough. Hangwa snickered, grinning ear to ear, his eyes sparkling with joy. The corners of his mouth turned up. He giggled foolishly. If it's a real immortal, we should get enough to eat, right? Jimingji's body trembled with excitement. Tears glistened in his eyes. The immortal realm. The actual immortal realm. Immortals really exist in this world. I can't believe I get such an opportunity in my lifetime. To see a real immortal, I'd die with no regrets. No regrets at all. He slowly closed his eyes. As Jimingji took a deep breath, a flood of memories washed over him. He went back to that innocent era, when he was a kid full of dreams. He was full of longing and fantasy for seeking immortals and studying the Tao. With his like-minded friends, he used to climb mountain peaks, trek through dense forests, just to find those legendary homes of immortals. Even though he found nothing, he still never got tired of it. Every time night fell, and the starry sky was bright, he would look up at the sky, hoping to see an immortal float down from heaven, and listen to his wishes. As the years passed, his childhood dreams were long worn down by reality, but those memories of seeking immortals were forever etched in his heart. They became the most precious treasure of his life, and the foundation that let him stick to his kind heart. Even after seeing all the evil in the world, his childhood fantasy was confirmed at this moment. Immortals really exist in the world. Chapter 93, Completion of Wall Maria. Facing this immortal miracle, the people protected in the middle knelt down on the ground involuntarily. They knocked their heads gently against the dust, prayers echoing through the air. Even the caravan that originally planned to loot the village also followed suit and knelt on the ground in fear and reverence. Meow Jimming and the others were also affected by the atmosphere, looked up at that fairyland with longing in their eyes. They didn't kneel down because the immortal lord didn't want them to kneel. A few minutes later, those who calmed down slowly got to their feet and set off on their way back again. This time their steps were surprisingly light. It felt like even the weight of their bodies had been taken away when they knelt just now. On everyone's face, there was indescribable joy and peace. Their eyes shone with anticipation for the unknown and the hope of a new life. Except, of course, for Yang Heyu and his group. These unlucky guys' mood right now is exactly like someone who didn't do their homework. They know they can't fool the teacher, but still lie to them out of a fluke mind, saying they left their homework at home. What if they get to survive, right? After walking into the woods, the caravan folks couldn't help looking up at the steps. It looked wobbly to them, like it could collapse from the sky any second. They wanted to rush away fast, but were scared of what lay ahead. Two groups of travelers with totally different mindsets walked side by side. On one side were the hopeful pilgrims, who had seen the fairyland, their hearts full of faith and expectation. They didn't look back, since what was behind them was a total mess, and the road ahead was exactly where they wanted to go. On the other side were the nervous caravan merchants, their eyes flickering with unease and fear. Every little noise made them panic out of their wits. Wei Si especially couldn't stop looking back over his shoulder. In his imagination, he had already run away really far. He wanted to run but couldn't get away. Suddenly, Wei Si shouted in a trembling voice, "Look at the sky!" There's red stuff flowing down from the sky. Red stuff. Hearing that, Miao Jiming remembered what Immortal Lord Bai had said. He turned around and looked up. A mass of red substance was just like flowing water, following the pull of gravity, winding down along the stairs. Its surface glowed with a bright orange-red light. Some of it poured down straight off the steps, falling directly toward the ground. From ancient times to now, there has never been any book that records this kind of water-like red substance, even though he had never seen it before. Miao Jiming somehow knew this thing was extremely dangerous. If even a drop touched him, he would die right on the spot. The red substance curled around, forming walls of burning fire, slowly falling from the sky. In just a few minutes, it would completely surround the entire area. It looked like a river of fire flowing upward, lighting up the whole sky and earth red. The air was burning hot, and there was a faint smell like rotten eggs. I must have lost my damn mind. Why did I even think about robbing them? Wouldn't buying it normally be fine? Now our escape route is totally cut off. There's no way we can run away now. Looking at that apocalyptic scene, Yang Heyu was kicking himself hard for his mistake. His stomach was aching dully, so he had to rub it gently with one hand. He stared longingly at the part of the sky that wasn't covered yet. He wanted to get on his horse and run. Brother Heyu, since we're already here, we might as well make the best of it. Miao Jiming, standing nearby, guessed what Yang Heyu was planning. He said with a smile, "Let's hurry up. It's getting dark soon. It's not safe for you folks to walk at night anyway. It's better to get there earlier, so I can get you all settled in, right?" Oh great, now there's no way to escape at all. This is pretty much the spot. Bai Li held a wooden plank in his hand, leaned over the plank and glanced down. After confirming that the starting point was right below, he replaced the last block with raw stone and placed 2 more raw stone blocks next to it. If he used wooden planks under his feet too, they would get burned by the lava, and if all the wooden planks were burned up, there would be no place to put the water. This part can't be messed up. As for those wooden planks used for padding, it's fine if they get burned. As long as there are blocks under the lava, when it first starts flowing, it will keep flowing downward. Even if the wooden planks get burned up in the end, the lava will still stay suspended in the air. That's totally how the rules work. After confirming no one was placing lava below, Bai Li said in a soft voice. He didn't think those villagers could swim in lava. Lying on the raw stone block, Bai Li wrapped his arms around the raw stone. With half his head sticking out, he carefully peered down below. He soon spotted Miao Jiming and his group. Looks like they brought quite a lot of people. Bai Li hesitated for a moment before saying, "They've got ropes tied around their calves, and they're carrying poles with loads. Wait, are those guys merchants? But why do they all look so vicious? Well, these are chaotic times anyway. Regular merchants wouldn't dare wander around out here. Only guys that look tough enough to scare others off would dare go out and travel around. That makes sense, actually. Besides, Miao Jiming lets them tag along, so they can't be much of a threat." Bai Li thought to himself. He waited quietly for them to get a bit closer. Only then did Bai Li place the lava on the wooden plank, letting it flow down along the plank. Lava flows way slower than water. Bai Li was bored with nothing to do, so he looked around First, he glanced at the villagers. He saw they weren't panicking. They were just quietly minding their own business. Miao Jiming and his crew only glanced over too, then kept heading towards the village. That Shang Tianhu is still trembling, pressed against the glass. His face is a little gaunt, but his mouth never stops moving. It keeps opening and closing non-stop. He looks pretty lively, actually, far beyond the border. There seem to be a few bandits. They obviously noticed something weird going on here. They're staring this way right now. Once the lava had flowed all the way down to the ground, Bai Li carefully took out an iron bucket. After double-checking that it was completely empty, he stored the lava inside. This bucket of lava is Bai Li's prized treasure. If he accidentally fumbles and pours water on top of the lava will turn into obsidian. He'll be kicking himself forever. After putting away the lava, he quickly placed down the water. The surrounding lava cooled instantly, turned into cobblestone and surrounded the water in the center, so it can't flow out. Then Bai Li took another bucket of water out of his backpack, poured it over the newly formed cobblestone. Once the water started flowing down, he put both buckets of water back. The water flows and disappears at about the same speed, so he didn't need to wait up in the sky any longer. The water flowed all the way down. Loud hissing sounds kept ringing out. The lava kept turning into cobblestone. Once the water was completely gone, a huge wall appeared in the sky. This wall stretched across the horizon. It was impossibly tall. Bai Li landed straight on the ground. The water splashed onto the ground. He installed a tiny iron door on the giant wall and put a lever next to it as well. Time taken, 200 seconds. Wall Maria is complete. Bai Li stepped back a few paces, took out an apple and started munching on it. He stared at the impossibly tall giant wall and felt a huge sense of achievement. I'm so freaking amazing. It's getting late. I should go back and see Jiming. What good stuff did he bring me? Bai Li started walking back towards the village. Zhang Guangdao and his subordinates watched the entire construction process of the wall from start to finish. This can't be real. Am I dreaming? Next to Zhang Guangdao, a gaunt man turned around in disbelief, hoping to get confirmation from Zhang Guangdao's reaction. Brother Guangdao, did you see that? The water poured on that red thing, and it turned into a giant wall. It's not an illusion. Zhang Guangdao froze on the spot, staring at the giant wall. His eyes were darting back and forth. He said, "Looks like there really is an immortal in that village. I need to tell Brother Wanger about this. Maybe we don't need to rebel. We can get enough food to eat anyway." With that thought, he yelled urgently, "Tell the boys to head back. We're going to see Brother Wang Er." Chapter 94. Hello? Wild lead outside the earthen wall of Liu family village. Bai Li looked at Miao Jiming standing by the door and greeted him with a smile. "Jiming, what did you bring me back from this trip? Any good stuff?" "Young Master Bai, you're back." Miao Jiming's mouth turned up unconsciously. His face was filled with unconcealable joy. He couldn't help wanting to step forward, to get closer to his god. But he held himself back in the end. Miao Jiming stayed where he was. He smiled and listed off a long list of snack names. Only ordinary civilians have trouble buying food. Snacks are just for satisfying cravings anyway, so they're not really in short supply. Of course, they're not cheap either, but there are plenty of people who can afford them. All these things, I had Luer bring them, and put them on your table, young master. Also, I thought since we don't lack food now, to make the villagers' lives a bit more fun, I brought back some opera performers too. If you're interested, young master, you can get a taste of ordinary life here. All of us have you to thank for this, really. Miao Jiming lied without even flinching. This was obviously prepared exclusively for Immortal Bai, but he used the villagers as a cover. Sure, I don't buy that for a second. He held back the small smile tugging at his lips. Bai Li looked at Miao Jiming and didn't say much. He wasn't an idiot after all. He'd already figured out. These performers were brought here just for him, but since he put it that way, there was no need for him to call him out. Besides, just having enough to eat isn't enough. Otherwise, when people have full bellies, they start overthinking. More problems pop up. People tend to pressure themselves after all. Though there's no sign of that yet. The only thing going on is the villagers look up every now and then and sneak a pious glance at him. Sometimes they mumble stuff too. Mostly things like prayers, thanks, and pleas for protection. It's nice to watch opera once in a while. Can't make the villagers work all the time without breaks. Of course they deserve to relax. Besides, I'm super curious about opera too. What was Ming Dynasty opera even like? Bai Li got really excited about the opera idea. His face immediately lit up with excitement and anticipation. Jinqiang, Tongzhou Bangzi, Handiao Erhuang, and Shanbei Dao King, stuff like that. I didn't know what the villagers liked, so I just brought back a bunch of different performers. Miao Jiming continued. I've already sent Liu Qi, Liu Wusan, and the others to build the mushroom sheds. I'm sure before tonight. They'll all be moved into the sheds. All the other goods we bought have been delivered to where they're needed. That's really great. Who would have thought that ragged scholar holding a red flower, who was lying in Tishan's arms back then, would be this capable? We really hit the jackpot here. Bailey thought to himself again, marveling. What's up with those guys? Bailey frowned and turned to look at Yang Heyu and his group. If they were merchants, they wouldn't be waiting here with Miao Jiming for him. Also, every single one of them is jittery as hell. They're trembling nonstop. Their faces are dead white, looking super guilty. Something's obviously off with them. Greetings, young Master Bai. Yang Heyu was on pins and needles. Beads of nervous sweat were visible on his forehead. The second Bai Li looked at him. He dropped to his knees with a thud. His men's legs also gave out, and all knelt down in unison. What they'd seen on the way here was enough to make them certain of the fact they'd never have believed before. Oh my god, he's a real immortal. We're illegal salt peddlers. Yang Heyu didn't dare look up at him, his hands shaking, forcing himself to stay calm, and told Bai Li every single detail of his original plan. His voice was low and shaking. He was even stuttering a little. He tried to sound as sincere as possible, to apologize to Bai Li and beg for mercy. This immortal Bai is even friends with Meng Po. They'd be crazy to lie to him. Do they want to risk their next life too? Please have mercy on us, young Master Bai. Yang Heyu curled up into a ball without realizing it, as if carrying an invisible weight. Give us little people a chance to make up for our mistakes. We'll do anything you ask. The last person who said that was strung up in the sky for whole days, a night straight, wondering if Wu Jin did as he was told. Bai Li thought, then asked Yang Heyu, since you're illegal salt peddlers, where's your salt? Yang Heyu bit his tongue until it bled. That gave him enough strength to stand up shakily. He walked over to one of the carrying poles and took out the goods on top to reveal the salt wrapped underneath. The salt didn't look very good, with some rough salt chunks mixed in, and it was slightly yellowish. Look, young master, it's right here, Yang Heyu said carefully. They really are illegal salt peddlers. If I remember correctly, salt wasn't super cheap back in the old days like it is now. You can't just sell it whenever you want. It's a strictly government-controlled commodity and a key source of government revenue. Salt tax has to be paid on it. People back then couldn't afford salt every day. If these illegal salt peddlers get caught, there's a high chance they'll be beheaded on the spot. Only these illegal salt peddlers dare wander around everywhere. No wonder they're all big and burly. These guys can still do labor reform. What a bummer. Bai Li's heart skipped a beat. He looked over at Yang Heyu. A translucent trade menu popped up right in front of his eyes. He really can be treated as a wandering trader, huh? Bai Li stared at the menu for a second, stunned. Then he looked at Yang Heyu with a weird expression. It's getting dark soon. Where's your invisibility potion and your llamas? I wonder if we can still leash them up. Bailey carefully looked at the trade options on the menu. A faint smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Infinite lava source. We've got that right here now. The trade options on the menu are as follows. 5 emeralds for 1 pufferfish bucket. 1 emerald for lime dye, or pink dye. 1 emerald for 2 rooted dirt blocks. 5 emeralds for 1 spruce sapling. The most important one among them is 1 emerald for 2 pointed dripstone blocks. With the 3 key items, pointed dripstone, lava bucket, and cauldron, we can start making an infinite lava source. Once we collect 11 buckets of lava later, 1 bucket will be used to keep producing lava. The other 10 buckets will be used to make obsidian the old-fashioned way, to build a nether portal. As long as you're skilled enough, you don't need any fancy diamond gear at all. I wonder what the nether is like inside. That spruce sapling is also a great item, by the way. You can plant 4 spruce saplings together. Though unlike jungle saplings, they won't grow into a huge jungle tree, which you can build a treehouse on. But when 4 spruce saplings grow into a large spruce tree, they will turn all nearby grass, dirt and sand blocks into podzol. Mushrooms can grow on podzol, with no light level restrictions at all. That means giant mushrooms can grow there too. All saplings, flowers, and sugarcane can also grow on it. This way we can grow mushrooms even during the day. Also, I wonder if the toolsmith will give us silk touch tools, even though we don't have silk touch enchanted tools right now. We don't have much in our village, but we've got tons of bone meal. We can still grow mushrooms after cutting down the tree later. Thinking of this, Bai Li looked at Yang Heyu, his gaze looking a little friendly. Poor guy. Coming all this way just to deliver me goodies? Chapter 95. Another masterclass in empty promises. I really made the right choice back then. If I hadn't chosen this space earlier, just finding lava alone would have been super hard for me, let alone getting villagers to change professions. getting enchanted diamond tools and armor sets, and all sorts of other enchanted books. Now I can even use the Wandering Lead to get pointed dripstone and other useful items. As for the emeralds needed for these trades, honestly, I'm not running low on them at all right now. With a ton of villagers helping me farm to get wheat, even if we only get a 60% yield, I still get loads of wheat every single day now. And as the number of villagers grows, the amount of wheat I get will skyrocket even more. MC wheat doesn't deplete soil fertility anyway, so there's no need to worry about the soil going barren. We can plant 50 to 60 cycles a day without any issues at all. All this wheat can be traded to farmers for emeralds, so it's safe to say I won't be short on emeralds anytime soon. After all, these emeralds are for trading with villagers of other professions. Right now, those novice-level villagers only offer really common items for trade. We need to level them up to higher ranks before we can get rare, good stuff from them. So what we need right now is other ways to spend our emeralds, Bailey thought to himself. Earlier when I was building the high wall, I emptied out everything in my inventory and filled it up entirely with logs. All the emeralds are stored in chests. I need to go home first, bring the emeralds with me and come back to trade. Except for those dyes, Bailey plans to buy all the other items available. Yang Heiyu's got all sorts of great stuff on him, huh? If Yang Heiyu leaves this place and comes back after some time, will his trade list refresh? If that's the case, it's more useful for him to leave this place. Plus, we can ask him to help look for people too. Yang Heiyu was nervously sneaking glances at the deep-in-thought Bai Li, too scared to say a word. What's your name? Bai Li asked. My name is Yang Heiyu, sir. If you have any orders, young Master Bai, just say the word, even if I have to die for it. I'll do my best to get it done. Hearing Bai Li ask for his name, Yang Heiyu knew there was a chance things would turn out okay, and he felt a surge of joy in his chest. He answered in a hurry. Bai Li went on to ask, since you're a salt trader, you must know something about the recent big events, right? Big events? Yang Heiyu thought for a moment and said carefully, is it that Hu Yanyan, governor of Shanxi, hid the truth and didn't report it? I know about that. Is there anything else? Bai Li interrupted Yang Heiyu and continued to ask, what else counts as a major event? Yang Heiyu racked his brains to think he could not just take the trivial matters of those ordinary official families and tell Bai Shenjun about them. That's not a major event at all. I got a major event. This May, the slaves attacked Yuancheng first. They failed, so they switched to attack Jinzhou. They failed to take that either. They have retreated now. No one knows where they went, Yang Heiyu said in a low voice, sneaking glances at Bai Li's reaction from time to time. Miao Jiming had mentioned the slaves to him before, but Jiming had been wandering for too long. He didn't know the exact details either. Bai Li frowned, thinking of those slave city massacring atrocities and all the humiliations China suffered under the rule of the Qing dynasty. We must never let these guys step into the capital again. But the Ming dynasty is already on its last legs. It's time for a change of dynasty. Let's take it one step at a time. Anyway, we can't let the slaves in. Our own affairs are for us to solve. No outsiders get to meddle. Anything else? Seeing Yang Heiyu fumbling and hesitating, Bai Li knew he wouldn't get more information out of him. Fine, looks like I can't get anything more out of you. Originally, I planned to send you all to do labor reform. Bai Li looked at Yang Heiyu and the others, paused, and continued speaking. However, I happen to have a task for you right now. I need you to help me find someone. That person's name is Song Yingxing, Bai Li said slowly. Bai Li has a pretty deep impression of this man. He appeared in Bai Li's high school textbooks. Being included in textbooks is itself a recognition of his ability. Tiangong Kaiwu is a scientific and technological work, known as the Encyclopedia of Technology, written by him. He is a genuine scientist of the Ming dynasty. We will definitely need two types of knowledge in the future. First is science. Second is Hongxi studies. Both of these subjects need dedicated people to research them. Song Yingxing is a very good candidate. If he remembers correctly, Song Yingxing wanted to become a Jurin through the imperial exam, but failed the metropolitan exam multiple times later, and finally gave up on the imperial examination path. A scientist good enough to be in textbooks, wasting so much time chasing official titles. Isn't that just a huge waste of precious time? Besides, before that, we need to help Song Yingxing reshape his values first. He's a scientist after all. Get him here earlier, so he has enough time to question his whole life. I don't know his exact location, but he should be a Jukai. Bai Li thought for a while, and added, when you meet that person, ask him if he has in-depth research on things like farming, manufacturing, smelting tools, and so on. If yes, that's most likely him. Of course, I won't make you work for nothing. If you find the right person, Your merits will offset your faults, and I will also let you move to live inside the walls, including your family members. If you make people work for free, the efficiency definitely won't be high, so Bai Li decided to give them some rewards. If you want a horse to run, you have to feed it grass naturally. This is the truth Bai Li learned after years of being a college student, and the soft spot for most men is their family. Thank you, young Master Bai. Thank you, young Master Bai. I will do my absolute best to work for you, young Master Bai. Yang Heyu felt like he just flew from hell to heaven in a second. This sudden good fortune made him dizzy with joy. The salt traders following behind Yang Heyu were just at a loss a moment ago, kneeling on the ground full of panic. Now, after hearing Immortal Bai's words, they instantly understood the situation and were overjoyed. This is a paradise under Immortal Bai's rule. Way better than serving that stupid, useless old emperor. It's so much more comfortable here. Working for Immortal Bai is such an honor for us. Young Master Bai is so kind. Thank you for sparing our lives, young Master Bai. Don't worry, young Master Bai. Even if he doesn't want to come, we'll knock him out and bring him here. We will never let your kindness down, young Master Bai. Same for me. That's another free trick he pulled off again. This time he didn't even spend a single dime on it. It just means these guys skipped labor reform entirely and got to enter the city straight away. It's like taking what they were already entitled to and repackaging it as a reward. And it seems to work pretty well. Bailey looked at the suddenly frenzied vendors in front of him. He thought to himself, Immortal Bai really lives up to his name. He won over these salt peddlers without lifting a finger. Miao Zhiming stood off to the side, gazing at Immortal Bai admiringly. Bailey stole a nearly imperceptible glance at Miao Zhiming. The power of faith is really terrifying. Chapter 96. Endless Lava. After the vendors calmed down a bit, Bai Li walked up to the men under Yang Heyu's command. Too bad no trade interface popped up for any of them. Maybe these guys are just like wandering traders. The trader llamas they bring with them are all just there to carry cargo, huh? Bailey joked to himself. He glanced at the unlicensed salt in their goods, and an idea popped into his head. He's not a 12th grader anymore. His peak knowledge reserve days are long behind him, but the test topic of purifying salt via dissolution and crystallization is still fresh in his memory even now. Who hasn't daydreamed about traveling back to ancient times? Welp, he actually did end up transmigrating. Speaking of refining fine salt, he doesn't even need to use the solar evaporation method, which is heavily affected by weather and has a super long salt production cycle. He can just boil brine directly. This method is much more efficient. It has a short cycle and the salt purity is relatively high too. The downside is the higher cost. It requires a huge amount of fuel, but it's not like he transmigrated into MC with nothing. The thing this world has the most of is endless energy. That'd make the folks on the neighboring seer drool like crazy. During the previous Glowfire experiments, Bailey was already sure. This stuff burns infinitely. It can keep releasing heat non-stop, as long as it doesn't come into contact with rainwater. It can even be stored directly in water if you separate it from air. Like I always say, give me a backpack full of Glowfire, and I'll build a real-life flaming mountain. Okay, so we do lack actual fuel. After all, charcoal needs to be made by burning wood. And we can't dig up coal at all right now. But we will never run out of heat energy. We'll take all this salt right now. We'll trade you fuel for it. What do you guys think? Bailey proposed. Of course, we'll do whatever you say, young Master Bai. Yang Heyu nodded without hesitation and said, he could barely hold back the smile on his face. Even if Immortal Bai gave him nothing for this salt and took it for free, he'd be totally fine with it. Right now, he feels like he hit the absolute jackpot. He originally thought he'd get skinned alive, but instead he got an errand from the Immortal himself. As long as he does it well, his family and descendants can move into the immortal realm. All his hard work all these years, isn't it all just to plant the trees, so his descendants can enjoy the shade? He traveled all over the country with his father. He's even been to the capital. He used to think the lives of the people there were already pretty great, but they can't compare at all to life here in the immortal realm. All right, you can work out the specific details of the salt for fuel trade. Just discuss it with Miao Zhiming, okay? Bailey couldn't wait to hurry back and get the emeralds, to trade for everything on the wandering traders list. Clear out the entire list. Yes, I understand, sir. Yang Heyu nodded and said, after Bailey left. Yang Heyu looked at Miao Zhiming with a complicated expression. He got scammed. But why does he feel lucky that he got scammed this time? He shook his head slightly. His eyes shone with sincere gratitude and respect. He took a deep breath, bowed solemnly to him and said, I'm Yang Heyu. Thank you so much, young Master Miao, for giving me the chance to gain Immortal Bai's favor. As far as he was concerned, only the person in front of him, the fox scholar who goes by the alias Young Master Chao, could pull off something like this. Miao Jiming is the real name of Chow Min-tai. Oh, what makes you say that? Miao Jiming asked with a small smile. You were scared out of your wits just now, after all. If I only cared about the goods, back when you had evil intentions earlier, with my immortal power, young Master Miao could have just killed all of us right then and there. But instead, young Master Miao gave us the chance to meet the immortal. To hear the Tao in the morning, one may die content at dusk. I've gotten an incredible immortal fate. This kindness, I will never forget it for as long as I live. I didn't do it for you. Miao Jiming shook his head and said slowly, the end result is good. Does the process even matter? Yang Heyu continued. Please tell me what you need me to do, sir. Whatever it is. Since Miao Jiming spared their lives, he must have had tasks for them from the very beginning. It's super simple. Every time you arrive at a place, spread what you see and hear there to the locals. Look for capable people living in poverty in every county. If they are willing to tag along when you pass by, just bring them back directly. Also, collect all kinds of plant seeds. If you find any live rare animals, just bring 2 of them back, that's enough. Right after Yang Heyu laid out those goods, Miao Jiming had already guessed. These people were all illegal salt traders. His original plan was to first let Yang Heyu and his men go through labor reform. Once they meet the immortal lord, he doesn't believe these guys will still dare to cause trouble. Then send them out to keep traveling around. These people have traveled far and wide, and passed through all sorts of places, under the immortal lord's governance right now. There are way too many things that need managing. It's a bit too much for him to handle all alone. Cheng Cheng just went through roving bandits invading the city too. There's barely any good stuff left there. What they've offered to the immortal lord is way too little. This has always left Miao Jiming with an indescribable, unnameable sense of worry. An immortal that came down from the upper realm. There's only immortal Lord Bai in all of history. Every day when he wakes up in bed and sees that mushroom arm, he gets a surreal feeling like it's all from a past life. If the immortal lord ever leaves, what on earth are we going to do? Immortal Lord Bai doesn't need their faith, but we need him. Without immortal Lord Bai, this whole place will fall apart in an instant. Immortal Lord Bai once told him that he will never leave, but Miao Jiming still feels a faint sense of unease. He needs to do more for immortal Lord Bai. It seems like immortal Lord Bai needs merchants. If you run into other people in the same line of work, tell them, don't hide this place from anyone. Miao Jiming added next. Oh right, you can just call me Brother Miao from now on. There's only one person in this land worthy of being called Young Master, he said firmly. Yes, Brother Miao, I understand, Yang Heyu said with a cupped fist salute. 4 puffer fish buckets, 7 spruce saplings, 10 pointed dripstones, 10 cones, 10 Zen root soil. Total cost 65. Emeralds, spruce saplings. Actually, 4 would have been more than enough. But just to be on the safe side, Bai Li simply bought all of them. It's not like we are short on emeralds anyway. Besides, the EXP gained from the trade instantly topped off his already nearly full EXP bar. Now that he has leveled up once more, the area he can move around in has tripled in size. Thanks to the villagers' hard work, there is already an artificial lake next to Liu Village. Fishermen can fish by the lake. They put those puffer fish and egrets into the lake. Physical fish can increase fishing efficiency. Puffer fish count as physical fish too. Let's just say we got really lucky this time. Most of the items in the trade menu are useful. Who would have thought the merchant skills he built up in the game would actually come in handy this much? Next step is to hurry up and make the infinite lava source. Bai Li quickly used iron ingots to craft 5 cauldrons. Then 3 meters up in the air, he built a platform with cobblestone. Seal the surrounding area with cobblestone. Put the lava right in the center. Place pointed dripstones and cauldrons under the cobblestone. The red lava flows down the pointed dripstones and drips into the cauldrons below. Bai Li knew perfectly well. The infinite lava source was already completed. Next, just wait for the lava to fill up the entire cauldron. Then you can scoop it up with iron buckets. The nether portal is not far away now. Chapter 97. Full erosion of corruption. The air was filled with the fresh scent of soil. Li Kaiji and the others led the craftsmen and guards they brought back from the city, walked through the dreamlike mushroom town. This is where we live. Li Kaiji, who was wearing a square brown hat, said with a smile, pointing at the mushroom patch not far away. For easier management, villagers with the same occupation all live in the same area. That way, if the Immortal Lord needs anything, they just need to send someone to the corresponding area, and they can find who they need right away. Brother Li, can I still go back home? One of the craftsmen asked timidly. You can leave whenever you want. No one is stopping you. Li Kaiji turned to look at the craftsman who spoke, frowned, and continued. But go back? Are you out of your mind? You'd rather go back to starve and be looked down on. Besides, it's total chaos out there with all the wars. You might not even make it back alive, but I only have a few more days left. If I don't go back by then, won't I be labeled a deserter? The craftsman mumbled in a low voice. If I can't make it back, there's always people who can't get their heads straight these days. Humph, I thought it was some huge deal. It's just such a stupid, trivial thing, Lee Kaiji scoffed. Why can't you get this through your thick head? Even if you stay here as a registered resident, you'll have enough food to eat, and a proper roof over your head. Way better than being a military household starving and freezing all day, right? Besides, you're an old bachelor. If you're full, your whole family's full. Why are you even overthinking this stuff? And don't you forget, we have a real immortal here. What's more important? Lee Kaiji didn't say that out loud, only after you've lived here for a while. Will you realize? Here under Xianjun's rule, us military households get treated like actual human beings. Back in the county town, other people saw us military households as nothing but lowlifes. Plus, we barely made any money to begin with. Our living conditions were terrible. We got discriminated against everywhere we went. It's bad enough we had low income. The work was also backbreaking. We had to work super long hours. And our kids would also get lower social status by birth. Who would ever want to marry their daughter to one of us, just to suffer for no good reason? But here under Xianjun's rule, almost everyone gets treated equally. And us craftsmen get really good benefits, just a little lower than the militiamen. I heard the militiamen used to get lower grain pay than us, only 70% of their current salary, but ever since Bai Xianjun saw the militiamen's training process once, he raised their pay to the current rate. But Lee Kaiji didn't feel resentful about it at all. He only saw the militiamen's training routine, once just a quick glance, and his own body ached faintly just thinking about it. Even so, there's never a shortage of people signing up for the militia. Tons of villagers want to become sharp blades under Xianjun's command, and die for him if needed. On top of that right now, the daily rewards alone are more than he ever dared to dream of before. The immortal is merciful, praise the immortal. Too bad some people get a fairy fate and don't even realize it. Thinking of this, Lee Kaiji glanced at Jiang Hu, who just spoke, and curled his lip in annoyance. If you really want to leave, you can go tomorrow by yourself. No one's stopping you. I'm not leaving. How could I possibly leave? Thanks for scolding some sense into me, Brother Lee. Jiang Hu waved his hands repeatedly, face flushed red. Good that you get it now. Go pick an unmarked mushroom house. Put your own stuff inside properly. I'll take you guys to eat. At the mention of eating, to Lee Kaiji's surprise, Jiang Hu and the others looked at each other, their faces full of shame and awkwardness. One of them stepped forward, forced a smile and said, Brother Lee, maybe we shouldn't eat this meal. We already ate at noon. We're not hungry right now. Yeah. We just ate, we're still full. We can eat tomorrow, it's no big deal. Right, we just ate a little while ago. We can last another whole day. Everyone chimed in one after another. Looking at these acquaintances forcing smiles, Lee Kaiji felt a sting in his nose. He thought back to his old life. Back in the government public housing, it's not that they don't want to eat, it's that their superiors embezzled their pay. They don't have money for food. He shook off those painful memories flooding his mind. Lee Kaiji's breathing got a little heavy, accompanied by a slight tremble. He said softly, It's my fault. It's my fault I didn't make it clear. Everyone who joins the work gets a share here. Even new arrivals can go eat. Just like the Imperial Court's porridge distribution. But here the Immortal serves noodles and steamed buns. You can eat as much as you want. The air went still for a moment. Jiang Hu and the others stood quietly in place, as if they were processing that sudden emotional shock. After a long while, tears glistened in their eyes. They unconsciously leaned towards Lee Kaiji and asked in hoarse voices, Is that real? The Immortal is watching, you know. Why would I ever lie to you guys? Lee Kaiji said sincerely. Thank you so much, Immortal Bai. Your divine grace is boundless. Your mercy knows no limits. Thank you for your guidance and protection, Immortal Bai. Jiang Hu and the others mumbled. Lee Kaiji continued speaking. Put all your stuff in the house. Let's head out. Don't worry. Even if you leave 10,000 taels of gold on a table here, with the door wide open, no one will steal anything. Even if you leave the gold out in the open, we can still find it when we retrace our steps. Lee Kaiji looked utterly devout and said sincerely, This is the immortal realm, you know. No one's dumb enough to do something that stupid. Our Immortal Bai is a kind deity. For such a tiny bit of stuff, it's not worth risking getting kicked out. Finish your meal, come back and get a good sleep. Tomorrow is when we test your skills. Pass the trial, and you'll get an immortal gift. As Lee Kaiji spoke, he proudly adjusted the brown hat on his head. This immortal hat on my head, I only got it after earning its recognition. The martial arts folks nodded repeatedly. staring enviously at that square brown hat. Oh, right. All those people we saw wearing different hats along the way. Their hats are all immortal gifts. I definitely have to pass the trial. By the campfire, Wang from Baishui frowned, stroking his chin, staring at the dancing flames, unable to snap out of it for a long time. Zhang Guangdao stood off to the side, waiting quietly. Wang subordinate ran into the camp, gasping for air. How'd it go? Wang frowned and asked impatiently. Just like what Brother Guangdao said. Near Lujia village, there really is a super tall stone wall there, the subordinate said shakily. Also, I noticed on my way there, centering around that stone wall, the land that used to be all cracked is now completely covered in green grass. The faith of Lujia village is real. Brother Wang See? Zhang Guangdao yelled excitedly. I told you so. You didn't believe me. Let's hurry and get all the brothers to Lujia village. Everyone can get food there. What's the point of struggling anymore? Wang said, Did you tell anyone else about this? Not yet. What about the men with you? No, I specifically told them not to. In that case, don't tell anyone. Wang stroked the looted accessory he had, inlaid with jewels, he said slowly. Tell all the brothers to leave this place first thing tomorrow. You're my brother. You should know what I mean. Looking at Wang gloomy face lit by dancing flames in the dark, Zhang Guangdao realized immediately. The heroic Wang who used to lead them had changed. Chapter 98, Divinity and Humanity. Morning sunlight filtered through the glass, falling on the warm comforter. Soft fur gently touched the back of Bai Li's hand, with a barely noticeable weight to it. Bai Li stretched sleepily, and slightly opened his heavy, sleepy eyes. He yawned, and reached out gently. His fingers brushed across Meng's head, slowly gliding over its soft fur. Life is so good. Let's see what today's gift is. When Bai Li saw the gift Meng gave him today, he woke up completely in an instant. Phantom demon? Bai Li turned to look at Meng happily. He'd noticed before that every time he woke up, he'd see Meng jumping off his bed, and some gift would magically appear next to him. Sometimes it was string, sometimes feathers, sometimes even spicy strips, or, well, rotting meat. God knows where all this stuff came from. He never expected Meng would give him a phantom demon today. Up until now, the only way he thought he could get a phantom wing demon was to stay up all night for a long time and wait for phantom wings to respawn, but it's been so long now. Not a single monster has respawned, so Bai Li realized that getting a phantom wing demon via the phantom wing respawn route wasn't going to work. He never thought Meng would just give him one. That's so awesome. Anyone can guess. The drop rate for this must be super low. My luck is so good today. I gotta give you a reward for this. Bai Li snickered, sat up and pulled Meng into his arms. Accept the love of your immortal. Feeling its warm body and steady breathing, Bai Li gently stroked its chin. Meng purred contentedly, curling up slightly. Its tail tapped lightly against Bai Li's arm. Bai Li enjoyed this quiet, warm moment and started humming softly. Meng followed along with the melody, letting out a soft meow every now and then. He buried his face in Meng's soft fur, wearing a totally creepy grin. I'm really acting more and more like a kid, but that's not really a bad thing. Bai Li thought to himself. No need to worry about the future. No need to think about other annoying stuff. Just do what you love every day. What's more, within your own capability, help other people out whenever you can. Right here, he doesn't have to fear being extorted for helping a fallen person up. Because the social atmosphere here takes my moral standards as the benchmark. Ancient people are way more superstitious than I thought. That's the case with Wu-Town, and so are those illegal salt traders. They're all scared of me, the immortal. Even if they have evil intentions in their hearts, they wouldn't dare to commit violence when they see me. Plus the lie I told before, saying I can decide their reincarnation. I bet they can't even get past their own conscience if they want to do evil. A gentleman judges people by their actions, not their thoughts. As long as these people do good deeds from now on, then they've already turned over a new leaf. For evil people like Shang Tianhu, there's no point in saving them. Good thing my hell gate is almost finished. I'll just throw them straight into hell. And if this hell later on doesn't kill people right away, then all the prisoners who come in later, the first thing they have to do is take a trip to hell. I don't buy it for a second. Those bad guys would still dare to take their chances. Right now, my mushroom farm is already developing the way I want it to. No one pockets lost items on the road. No one needs to lock their doors at night. What was written in the books is gradually becoming reality. I must take control of the direction this world is heading. I will never let it become like the world in my past life. People should smile and live slowly for eternity. Little kids crawl like snails, slowly through their short lives. All right, snuggle time is over. Bai Li gently put Meng down on the bedside, got up and walked towards the workbench, bringing the phantom demon with him. He opened the crafting book in the workbench interface. If you have one of the required crafting materials, even if you don't have enough of all materials, the items you can craft will still show up in the crafting list on the left. So Bai Li wanted to give it a try. What if he can craft elytra? Sadly, he flipped through the entire crafting recipe list, didn't miss a single corner. There was no elytra crafting page in there at all. Looks like this method won't work. Bai Li felt a little disappointed. He still wanted to give it a shot. What does it feel like to fly in the sky? He walked into the warehouse. Bai Li put the phantom demon into the chest marked mob drops with a notice board. After eating the breakfast Liu Er brought over, Bai Li carried the snacks that Miao Jiming brought back, eating them as he walked. Zhao Li fed and bred those cows, sheep, and chickens, with the ones from the village chief's house, plus the 2 old yellow cows from Zhang family village, and the 2 sheep he bought. Now they've filled up the small area Bai Li marked out, completely. Luckily, even if these cows and sheep are crowded together, they don't react at all. Now the number of cows has reached a sufficient base. It's time to start slaughtering cows for leather. Same with the chickens. It's not a good idea to just keep feeding them without killing any. Looking at the crowded herd of cows, Bai Li thought to himself. He used wooden fences to circle the cow donation area. He opened a small gap. Several cows immediately rushed out from the herd. This batch is about enough. Bai Li was quick with his hands and eyes, and blocked the gap with the wooden fence again. Then Bai Li clenched his fist and punched the cow hard. The cow turned red all over for a second, then started spinning around inside the fence. 1 hit, 2 hits. Bai Li counted silently in his head, and the strength he used got smaller and smaller. Gotta say, this cow definitely lives up to its aqua-like wise gaze. The fence is so short, but it just can't step over it. Until the 10th hit. The cow fell to the ground instantly, and dropped 2 pieces of beef and 1 piece of leather. Bai Li took out the iron sword he carried with him, and swiped it lightly at the cow. Only 2 hits. The cow fell to the ground. Looks like these non-native creatures don't take physical damage very well. That makes sense, honestly. Slaughtering chickens and cows. Bai Li won't let the villagers do this kind of work. After all, you can get EXP from it. Of course, he'll slaughter all the cows and chickens himself. Bai Li collected all the drops on the ground into his backpack, made a new workbench, and put it right at the main entrance of the farm. Then Bai Li crafted chests and notice boards, and marked the chest agricultural products. Then Bai Li walked to the place where he put the cauldron. It was already full of lava. He can take it out now. He scooped out the lava inside with an iron bucket. Hirimade another 4 lava collectors. He found out earlier that only the cauldron placed directly under a lava block can actually collect lava. Even if a pointed dripstone keeps dripping elsewhere, no lava will collect in the cauldron at all. So every time he collects a full bucket of lava, Bai Li builds another lava collector. Up to now, he has made almost 8 of these devices total, but he won't make any more after this, because once you get to the Nether, lava is the last thing you'll ever run out of. Chapter 99. Wreath and Funeral. Wreath next is the Ji Yan method. I need someone smart for this task, otherwise they won't get it even after ages of teaching. People like Wei Shi and Liu Ping definitely won't work. We have enough people now anyway. Miao Jiming already has too much on his plate daily. Better not bother him with this. There's only a handful of people I can trust right now. But Liu Qi seems like a good pick. He hasn't had much formal education, but he's pretty quick on the uptake. We really need to find a teacher to teach people how to read. Good thing the exterior of the job temple complex is almost finished, except for the few blocks that can't be crafted, or cost way too many materials to make. We've put all other job site blocks inside already. Based on previous experience, only villagers with rich experience in a certain line of work can be recognized by the corresponding job site block and unlock the corresponding profession. That is to say, any librarian that gets the job via a lectern definitely has solid professional skills. If there's a teacher among them, I can safely leave all the teaching work to them. Plus today is the mass profession assignment day anyway. Those refugees have mostly recovered already. I need to be present for the event. I'll place a chest by the temple, put some logs inside it, along with the wheat the villagers turned in. The logs are for crafting sticks, so I can trade sticks for emeralds with Fletchers, so I can use them whenever I need. After all, 1 stack can hold 64 items. You can carry more if you bring logs instead. As for the wheat, it's for trading with farmers for emeralds. If my guess is right, farmer will be the most chosen profession among all the villagers. Then I can use emeralds to buy items from other profession villagers, especially armorers. I've already collected full leather, chainmail, and iron armor sets. The only set I'm missing is the diamond set, which is really hard to get via mining. The best way to get one is to trade with armorers directly. Then I'll take the ink sacs I fished up, plus the books and quills crafted from feathers and books, and have Miao Jiming record each villager's name, the tier of tradable items, and their home address. I'll assign someone specifically to keep track of this information. When I need something, I just need to ask that person to look it up. With actual intelligence, they're way easier to manage than in the game. Not to mention they'll voluntarily hand over all the wheat they farm every day, which I can use to trade for emeralds with them. It's super convenient, and you only need to give them some seeds and a composter, and they can feed themselves. That's the right way to make use of villagers. Just then, that idle loafer, Tishan, who had a flower wreath around his neck, happened to pass by. This guy has nothing to do all day, just wandering around the village nonstop. Plus, he knows almost everyone in the village. Asking him is definitely a safe bet. Also, if I send Tishan, for one thing, all villagers know Taishan listens to me, so they won't stop him from taking the salt. For another, he's super strong and can carry heavy loads, so he can bring all that salt over easily. Bailey was just about to call out to Tishan when Tishan spotted him first, waved, and walked straight over to him. When he got to Bailey, Taijam took the flower wreath off his neck and tried to put it around Bailey's neck. But as soon as Tishan let go, the wreath went right through Bailey's body and fell to the ground with a clatter. Obviously, Tishan came over to give the wreath to Bailey as a gift, but this idiot made it to his own size. The wreath was way too big. It was big enough to fit around an iron golem's 3-meter wide body, so on Bailey it looked like a funeral wreath. This is the first one you made specially for me, right? Bailey laughed wryly and said, Taishan realized he probably messed up and nodded gently. Looking at his innocent face and how flustered he was, Bailey thought helplessly, I never should have said to make a wreath that you can wear around your neck. It's normal for a guy with an iron brain to not get the hint. Bailey bent down and picked up the wreath, slung it over his shoulder, like he was carrying a shoulder bag. He thanked him quietly. Tishan, I really like this gift. I'll take good care of it. Next time if you want to make more garlands. Bailey paused for a second, searched around for quite a while, and carried over a few chunks of stone, said to Tishan, almost there. It just needs to fit over these stones nicely. I need to give him a reference object, so he doesn't mess it up again. Taishan, do you know which division Liu Qi is in now? Bailey asked tentatively. Taishan nodded and said, okay. You go find Liu Qi and bring him here. On the way, bring a small portion of the salt we bought from the warehouse. Seeing Tishan tilting his head and looking at him thoughtfully, Bailey thought for a moment and said carefully, Hey Tishan, you know what salt is, right? Taishan shook his head, sigh. Forget it after all. I'm basically the creator of this silly landlord's son. If I don't spoil him, who will, when classes start later? I'll sign Taishan up for classes too, so he doesn't get scammed and even count money for the scammer. Paley rubbed his forehead helplessly and sighed softly in annoyance, took out books and pens from his backpack, and paper, and scribbled a few words on the paper. Go find Miao Jiming. Give this thing to him. He'll understand what it means. Bailey handed over the piece of paper. The character Bailey wrote on the paper was the traditional Chinese character for salt. The Ming Dynasty was already one of the peak periods for the development of Chinese printing. Books were cheaper and more widespread than before. Plus, Chengcheng had just gone through turmoil. Those roving bandits only robbed food and had zero interest in inedible books, so families in Chengcheng that had books sold them off to get money to buy grain naturally. So the price of books actually dropped. Miao Jiming used the salary he earned these days to buy some books, and brought some for Bai Li too. But he's been studying for so many years. His desire to read was already worn out during those years of 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. study sessions. It was so hard to finally be free. How could he stand to read anymore? Besides, he doesn't need to rely on reading to make a living now. But since he already sent all the books over, I can't make Miao Jiming take them back, so I just put them in the cabinet as decorations. When I first got the books, Bailey also flipped through a few pages out of curiosity and found that people at this time still used traditional characters. He was basically half illiterate and couldn't recognize some characters. Based on the context, Bailey could barely make out some of them if he really couldn't figure it out. He'd mark it and ask Miao Jiming for help. Although the enthusiasm only lasted a few hours, Bailey still learned a lot of traditional characters, including the traditional character for salt. As for why he's looking for Miao Jiming instead of Liu Qi now, because right now in the village, only Miao Jiming the scholar can read. Everyone else is illiterate. Liu Qi included, they can't understand it anyway. After sending Tishan away, Bai Li took out his portable workbench, made some kindling, and placed them on the ground, built a platform above the kindling, sealed the edges, and put 4 blocks of infinite water next to it. Bai Li tried to scoop water into the platform with an ordinary container and waited until the water inside boiled and started to steam. Bai Li nodded in satisfaction. Good thing the water can still be boiled. Thank God the real-world rules still work here. Otherwise, the water would probably stay cold forever. Chapter 100. Test points for the character salt. After all the necessary supplies were prepared, Taishan carried Liu Qi on his left shoulder and the bag of coarse salt on his right shoulder, running towards Bai Li. Liu Qi is of normal adult height. After eating better meals, his originally bony figure had become well-proportioned, but on Tishan's shoulder he looked like a little kid, seeing Immortal Bai looking at him strangely. Liu Qi was too frustrated to say anything and looked super awkward. He was still busy with his own stuff. He never expected the God General to come over, handed him a piece of paper without saying a word, and before he could see what was on it, he was lifted onto the shoulder and ran all the way here. But that paper was actually useless anyway. After all, he can't read. Looking at the situation now, the Immortal must have something to ask him for. The God General didn't want to waste time, so he carried him over here. Bai Li then said, Tishan, put Liu Qi down. You're done here. Go take a walk or something. Liu Qi was lowered to the ground like a kitten by Tishan, and Tishan even patted his head. Liu Qi accepted it quietly, until Taishan moved his hand away. He acted like nothing had happened, with a completely calm face. He said seriously, Master Bai, what are your orders? I want to teach you a method for purifying refined salt. I thought it over and over. You're the only one I trust, and can take on this important task, Bai Li said slowly. After you learn it, you'll lead a group of people, and teach them how to do the purification. They'll be in charge of purifying refined salt. You should know, salt regulations are a key source of government revenue, so salt production and circulation are strictly controlled by the authorities. Salt purification technology is held by salt officials and salt merchants. Ordinary people don't directly participate in the salt purification process, so they naturally have no idea about it. In the book Tiangong Kaiwu, there are detailed records of salt-making methods, but this book hasn't been written yet. Bai Li's words brushed past Liu Qi's ears like spring breeze. Liu Qi's brain short-circuited all of a sudden. His eyes lit up, as if stars were twinkling inside them. Immortal Bai said, I'm trustworthy. The Immortal approves of me. He looked up at Bai Li. Immortal Bai's figure was reflected in Liu Qi's pupils. That sacred being, the tips of his ears turned pink. An unprecedented glow spread across his face. The corner of Liu Qi's mouth, which was flat just now, started twitching upwards nonstop, just like the pure joy a kid feels when praised by elders. He was more excited than when he first found a water source. He clenched his hands tightly together, as if he was trying hard to control his emotions, to keep his excitement from spilling over. Liu Qi took a deep breath, trying to calm down the sudden sense of glory, but his trembling voice still betrayed the surging emotions in his heart. Really? Do you really think so? His voice shook a little, full of disbelief. He rubbed his fingers gently, as if trying to feel something real, to prove he wasn't dreaming right now. This scene only ever appeared in his dreams, and it's actually happening now. Am I dreaming? Huh? Did I say something? Why is he reacting so strongly all of a sudden? Oh right, I said I trust him. That's all it took. How much of a perfect filter does he have on me anyway? Bai Li looked at Liu Qi, who acted like he was high. Liu Qi nodded and responded. Bai Li saw Liu Qi's shoulders start shaking, his breathing getting faster and faster, short and ragged. Bai Li was worried he might fail to catch his breath, and just pass out directly. I'll definitely live up to your trust, Master Bai, Liu Qi said tremblingly. He's got plenty of energy, huh? Bai Li demonstrated the entire salt purification process to Liu Qi from start to finish. First step is filtration. Build a funnel-shaped structure. Cover the very bottom with cotton cloth first, to stop impurities from getting into the container. Then add activated carbon as the first filter medium. Put sand for the second layer. Add gravel for the third layer. The container for filtered salt water goes below. We don't have activated carbon right now, but Bai Li has loads of charcoal on him. Though charcoal and activated carbon are different things, he can make activated carbon from charcoal. Cover the magma integrator with raw stones. Seal the surrounding area with 3 meters of raw stones to make use of the heat it generates. Then pour water inside. Make an oak trapdoor. Place the charcoal on the oak trapdoor. Use water vapor as the activating gas. Activate the charcoal by exposing it to high temperature. Dry the obtained activated carbon with heat from the magma. We don't have filter paper, So we can only use cotton cloth instead. Dissolve the crude salt in water on the platform. Heat it while stirring with a wooden stick. To make the salt dissolve faster, filter the salt water multiple times with the filter. Then put it into the container. Barium chloride, sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate. These things are already engraved in Bai Li's brain. He blurted them out without thinking. Of course we don't have any of these. But we can go for the next best option. Use plant ash. Plant ash is produced by burning wheat straw. That's really easy to get. Of course, use proper amount, don't add too much. That's a key point to note. Let it sit and settle before filtering again. Now we can start evaporation and crystallization. But we don't need to use residual heat for evaporation this time. Just evaporate all the water inside completely. An experiment I did years ago is actually coming in handy now. Looking at the freshly made pure white refined salt. Bai Li was very satisfied. Though these refined salt has formed lumps, it's not like the salt I normally eat, which comes in white crystals, probably because the impurities inside haven't been fully removed. But without any chemical reagents, to get it to this state, it's already pretty great. He pinched a little bit, put it in his mouth and tasted it. The taste isn't as good as the ones I've had before, but there's no bitterness or other weird aftertastes. Got it. Bai Li asked Liu Qi, if you still don't get something, just ask me directly. I can demonstrate it again too. Gotta say he picked the right person. Liu Qi was paying close attention the whole time, and asked Bai Li right away whenever he had questions. I've memorized the general production process. Liu Qi nodded and said, looking at Immortal Bai reverently, as expected of an immortal. You know everything in the world. Go find Ziming and get some people. Jian, you're in charge of this matter. Bai Li continued. Okay, after Liu Qi left, Bai Li accidentally glanced at the box set aside, and suddenly remembered something. Ah, how did I forget this magic item? Whatever. There are way too many magic items in MC anyway, and they're not even valuable. They're sold at wholesale prices. It's totally normal to forget about it. Bai Li thought to himself, it's just a storage space. No big deal. No sweat at all. It's not too late right now. In the earlier test, Liu Er couldn't use it, so he always assumed no one else could use it. But that was before Liu Er changed his job class. If villagers with job classes can use this thing, then the harvested wheat doesn't have to be piled up in the basement. We can just put it all in the boxes. After all, the wolf meat Liu Er gave before has been in this box and never went bad. That means this box can store real-world items. And time stops inside the box. I suddenly remembered I still have a cottage over there. I locked the door before and never went back. Minecraft, right? It's totally normal to have properties all over the place. I have to test it first. Chapter 101, You Still Came. Near the entrance of Liu family village, Bai Li stared at the open box with a glint in his eyes. Villagers with job classes can actually use the boxes. Though just like using tools, keeping the box open consumes stamina constantly. Putting in or taking out items also uses stamina. But compared to space equipment, this tiny bit of stamina cost is nothing. Not to mention this box also keeps food fresh. Oh right, if I remember correctly, boxes can be placed on boats and moved around. If that's the case, then can I? Bai Li mumbled quietly. Then he put the wooden box on the carriage, put some items inside. The wooden box was like it was glued to the carriage and could move along with it. This box really can be carried like this. Makes sense. After all, in the original game, you can put them on boats and on minecarts too. You can even attach boxes to donkeys, mules, llamas, and other such animals. That means boxes are meant to be movable. And even if this didn't work, Bai Li could craft the box with a boat, put it on the carriage, and it would still move. It's just one extra step. Looking at the box fixed on the carriage, Bai Li's eyes flickered when he suddenly thought of a hidden problem. But if that's the case, the stuff I put in the box could get rummaged through by others. I could lock it with commands, but the problem is I can't use commands either. Otherwise, I would have turned on creative mode and flown everywhere ages ago. The box does have a lock though. Just as Bai Li was looking at the box thinking this, an invisible stream of information directly entered his mind. Enter a line of password in your mind, Bai Li said slowly to the randomly selected farmer. Now try again to see if you can open it. The farmer said, no, it looks like I need something. After telling him the password, the box opened right away. Then Bai Li tried again and found that job class villagers can also lock the boxes. But the weird thing is, even if Bai Li doesn't know the password, he can still open it. As everyone knows, everything in villagers' boxes belongs to Steve, so it's totally reasonable that Bai Li can open them. Young Master Bai, what do I need to do next? The job class farmer asked. Bai Li said, take this box to Ziming. He's been a hands-off boss, dumping all the work on Miao Zhiming. He only needs to go collect the wheat every day, while Miao Jiming is dead tired. The dark circles under his eyes are extremely noticeable. It's probably because he's been working on the task I gave him earlier, and pulling all-nighters nonstop. The reward time I planned for myself should be about right now, Bailey mumbled to herself. Teaching Liuqi how to make salt, plus testing the boxes, has taken quite a lot of time. Hey, the sorting ceremony should start soon. It's all about putting on a hat anyway. Pretty much the same thing. Hurry up, we'll be late if we don't go now. This is a chance to get the Immortal's blessing. Yeah, we don't qualify for it. But there's no harm in watching from the sidelines. Totally. Even just getting a look at Immortal Bai is worth it. The refugees looked excited, and lined up to walk inside the earthen wall of Lu Village. After days of dietary adjustment, plus treatment from the 2 doctors from Baikao Tang Clinic, and most importantly, a sense of spiritual sustenance, those refugees are recovering very fast. They can gradually start participating in work now. For all of them, today is an extremely important day. Immortal Bai is going to grant his blessing to some of them. The crowd swarmed toward the job transfer temples, whispering and discussing with each other, with excited and curious looks on their faces. When they got close to the sacred building complex, they all suddenly fell silent. Each of them stared fixedly at the buildings in front of them, not wanting to miss any detail, their eyes filled with awe and longing. 13 giant buildings of different shapes,